Hey everyone, the Talking Dads podcast is brought to you by Little Scholars Early Learning Center. Whether your family needs infant care, a preschool program, or before and after school care, Little Scholars' highly rated Step Up to Quality programs provide quality early childhood education at an affordable price. Visit www.littlescholars.net to get in contact with an enrollment specialist and schedule a tour of any of their 5 Lake County campuses. Here's the deal. Talking Dads fans are getting a little bonus. Mention that you heard about them through our podcast, and when you tour, and you'll receive $25 off of your registration fee. Again, that's Little Scholars Early Learning Center, where children learn, play, and grow together. We are also brought to you by Pub Fredo Gastropub. Pub Fredo was voted Best Gastropub in Cleveland in 2019 by Cleveland Magazine Silver Spoon Awards. We love Pub Fredo. Their menu is chef-inspired, always pushing the limits of traditional pub fare. The other night I had a burger, I believe it was called the Pub Burger. It was incredible. Cooked perfectly. It was amazing. And you won't have a problem pairing your favorite item on the menu with their great selection of local craft beers, crafted cocktails, and of course, an amazing bourbon and whiskey selection. I went with the Bullet 10-year with my Pub Burger. All of this in a cozy, fun, come-as-you-are atmosphere. You can check them out at pubfredo.com and on Facebook and Instagram at PubFredo Gastropub.
We are also brought to you by Marky Fresh Barbershop in Menor, Ohio.
Bro, I love Marky Fresh.
It's the best, isn't it?
Dude, I get cut there like every 3 weeks. My kid gets cut there every month
Every
and a
now and
half or
then.
so. Month and a half, 2 months, something like that. They do such a good job.
The environment is phenomenal. Everybody's awesome there.
Can I tell you a secret? I don't
Please.
even give a shit about the haircut. It is so much freaking fun going there.
Just to hang out.
Yeah. I have such
Just have a good time. Every time, man.
Yeah.
You get caught. If you want to be in there fast.
Oh, yeah.
Their whole app, everything, booking to get in.
So
It's so
easy.
convenient and easy, but you get caught up
Oh, yeah.
because you just want to hang out and talk with these guys.
You know what the word is? Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
So many shenanigans.
You don't want to leave.
It's so much fun. But honestly, they do a fantastic job.
They really do.
I look way better when I leave than when I
You
come there.
really do.
I know.
So, yeah, Marky Fresh.
Yeah, book at markyfresh.com.
Book, get in, stay fresh.
What's up, everyone? Happy freaking Friday. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Talking Dads. Episode number 95. We are closing in on 100, and we had Tom Brew come in studio to talk to us almost exactly 2 years from when he first came to talk to us. Really good time. We talked a lot of dinosaurs. We, of course, went through some legacy stuff. A lot of good dad hacks, threw in some dad jokes at the end there. This is a long one. We had a really good time with Tommy. Make sure you check it out and let us know what you think. In fact, you can text us, 216-279-8475, and let us know what you think. Join our community, and yeah, we'll get that going. Love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend.
In a world where moms continue to dominate parenting authority and a father's role is minimized in society, 2 dads take on the toughest parenting topics on a weekly basis, all while drinking bourbon. They are the Talking Dads.
These are heavy duty mics.
We upgraded
Yeah,
a
so what
little
was the
bit.
last time you were here?
We were in my
It was the
basement.
basement.
Yeah.
What is it all
What am I
new?
now? Is that mic 91?
No,
3? 4?
5.
95.
I'll take that.
Actually,
96.
no,
95.
96.
96.
Yeah. What were you the first time? Do you remember?
11, I think.
11? 11? Holy shit.
I mean, we were
Yeah, I guess that's
in
right.
the basement.
Bennett was 6 months old, and now Palmer's 6 months old.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Time flies,
We'll be
man.
3 in June.
Holy
We're approaching
smokes.
100 episodes.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
A lot has changed, including heavier duty mic stands.
Heavy duty mic stands.
We got some lighting.
We had
got
those.
some
I
good
remember those
lighting.
tripod ones that we had that like
Oh, God. These things were a nightmare.
just they were rough.
This could do some damage.
Oh
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, so far no one's knocked it over. So I mean, that's
Maybe we'll be the
whole
first.
idea.
Or there's no riots to...
Oh, right.
Well, that's what you just flip this thing over and it's your weapon.
It's not bad. Yeah, man, a lot's changed. I can't believe you were episode 11.
I think it was 11.
I mean,
It sounds right, though, because we were in the studio. Then we
I gotta confirm.
Yeah.
Because we were in the studio, then we moved to the basement.
To the basement for a little while we were figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly after
11.
that, 11?
Yeah.
Think about the moves we made. Go from the studio. We went from the basement to the studio to the basement to Rick Russo's for an episode.
Yeah.
Back to the basement, then here.
Yeah.
I can't remember when we came in here. It was like May.
It was like May or June of 19.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
Look at us.
No,
We've changed some things around in here.
Yeah. We've.
Oh, so that was shortly after my episode because
Yeah, it was
we
pretty
recorded-
close after that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we only did like 5 episodes at the Marky Fresh studio, and then kind of bounced around for a couple.
We were homeless for a little while.
Yeah, we were kind of homeless.
Now we're home.
But the basement was a good spot.
It
was awesome.
Yeah. I'm excited to
Get the bar.
maybe get it set up.
Good
Yeah.
background effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I don't want a full-time studio at home, but
But if there,
it'd be nice.
it'd be nice to have sometimes when we
Yeah.
just need to use it.
Yeah. So.
Could do like some bourbon reviews in front of the new bar.
Yeah.
We got to come up with some good bar ideas for them.
Yeah.
I have some. I have some pictures for you.
I want to put a bar in, so we decided to make our front formal dining room into a lounge area.
Oh, okay.
So when we moved in, so it's nuts, right? So we built our house. So we moved. We had our second kid, and then I got a new job all throughout the pandemic. So it's
It's pretty amazing.
pretty chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole grand plan was, we have a formal dining room, but like, when are we ever going to
What do you use a formal dining room
So
for?
now it's a playroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just have random toys and like a whole bunch of shit and
Sure.
for the kids. And we're like, you know what? Let's just make this as like a cocktail lounge area. And so to go from like the kitchen, great room area to this like nook and have like comfy,
Yeah.
cool chairs and then like put in an actual.
Because it's
wet
like
bar.
right butting up against the stairs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
I think that'll be really nice.
Yeah. I mean, we put a chandelier in so that like it's. I shouldn't say chandelier, but LED
chandelier.
it's not too crazy.
We've got
but
our crystal.
We did that cool LED, like crystal balls. Yeah,
It's beautiful.
But like it's still like the setting will be there to have like a nice like lower table and then like some like leather or like plush, comfy like just
That'd be cool.
extra large chairs and have a bar and like I don't know.
I love that
For the
idea.
future,
Yeah,
yeah,
it'd be
something
really
different.
nice. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I mean, that front room in the house is always, or whatever the dining room was supposed to have been is always difficult to figure out.
The dining rooms. It's like they just sit there. It's like
Yeah.
a wasted space.
Right.
Like make it an area where you could actually use it. I mean,
Which
you
is weird,
you will use a
and then we
dining
can
room.
Still convert it like
You can put
when we're
throw a table in there.
grandparents or whatever, and like in 25 years or whatever, and we need to have a space for 10 more people to eat Thanksgiving dinner.
Can you do me a favor and not say that when we're grandparents ever again? It's so terrible to think about. The other day we were talking about somebody and my brother goes, "Oh, how old is he?" I'm like, "Oh, like 50." Like he's older. He's like, "So like, 14 years older than you." I'm like, "Oh my god." 14 years goes by like that, man.
Oh.
So
Flies.
we're gonna be in our 50s when our kids are like in college. If
Yep.
they choose to go to college, but
Yeah.
that's
That
what
age.
Dan and
right.
I were talking about that this week. I can't remember exactly how it came up, but it was just like I was talking about like going to Italy and like drinking wine or whatever, and like, oh, when you're 21, she's like, don't say that because that means you're gonna be 50 fucking 55. I'm like, oh shit.
It's like one of the conversations I have with Liz all the time. We're talking about the kids, and I'm like, because we're having our third, and I'm like, I'm gonna be old as shit. Like I'm old already. I don't feel old. I feel.
You don't look old.
Thanks, man.
Well, that Kinergy's doing well for you.
Kinergy.
Can you show me some of that? Like,
Kinergy? Oh, I'll do it. I mean, we had a live audience
did
every
have a
day.
live
So
audience.
that salon every day would just see us in here dancing around like a bunch of
He
idiots.
knows a little bit about that salon.
a little bit.
Oh, yeah, you do know that. Oh, yeah. Hey, that's weird.
I was talking to Val a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, she said she saw us over here dancing like a bunch of idiots. The best was, I think, the first night we were there, it was Saturday. So Saturday evening, you have all the people walking around to the bars. And then like every now and then you'd have a breakout session, and then you would do like a warm up. So you go and start dancing again. We're in here dancing around like a bunch of idiots. There's like young kids walking by, going to the bars. It's like, what the hell's going on here? It looks like we're watching an aerobics video.
There's no booze in sight. It's just like
a jazzercise class with a bunch of dudes. Just
right.
So just the worst dance moves you've ever seen.
So white.
But we did great though.
So white. He sent a Snapchat. Like my wife's just like, wow, he just gets whiter and whiter. I'm like,
your moves were pretty good, man. I was just said. That's why I wanted to be in the back.
Yeah. So let's take a step back. How's Liz?
She's doing great, man. She's miserable because she hates herself right now. She's miserable because she hates the way she looks and stuff. So she's at that point right now where she's getting all depressed about that kind of stuff. Like, come on. She's like, I'm just huge. I'm like, what do you expect? Well, you're pregnant. I'm like, you look phenomenal. Just don't worry about it, you know. Yeah. But she feels great. Like physically, she's fine. But she's just kind of bumming out about the way she looks right now. She's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to bounce back, and all, you know. She's going through those thoughts right now. Yeah. And I get it. I can't imagine going through that transformation.
I get it. I haven't bounced back from my kids.
Right? Hey, sympathy weight is a real thing, man. I don't care what anybody says.
This struggle's real.
It is, man. It's tough.
It's such an asshole thing to say.
I know.
Sacrifice things, right?
Yeah. You know how uncomfortable that bed is next to the...
Sacrifice a lot.
Awesome.
You know, you got the chair in the delivery room, and then you got to sleep on that thing.
Chair does suck.
You ever see that video of the dad? He's sitting in it, and the wife's passed out after giving birth, and he's sitting there. He's like moving around in the chair trying to get comfortable. He's like, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. And he goes, God, this chair's so uncomfortable. And he's like, I'm sorry. Starts playing like the horror music. It's so freaking good.
Dagger eyes.
Oh, yeah. Instantly. Like, just keep your mouth shut.
I mean, it is.
I mean, I've told the story. They didn't tell me that chair like turned into a bed.
Yeah,
all it did was like the foot thing came out a little
Mine
bit.
didn't.
I'm telling you, I put a lot of pressure on that thing. I'm like, maybe it goes back a little bit further. At least reclines.
I would have just broke it.
I should have. Well, you know what the best part is? The nurse comes in the morning and sees me like curled up in a ball.
The
she's
nurse
like,
just checked on you guys every hour on the hour for 8 hours straight.
Yeah. And then at 9 in the morning, she goes, oh, you know that turns into a bed, right? I'm like, thank you. Yeah. Had a great night.
So when Bennett was born, long story short, one of Dana's really good friends was able to deliver Bennett and Palmer.
Oh, cool.
So awesome. Mary is at Lake West, and she hooked us up, and she gave Dana the recovery room. So we got 2 beds. So I got to sleep on an actual bed, and so we were here to. It was just by ourselves, right? And so I actually had a secondary, delivery bed, right?
Yeah.
That I slept in. But then fast forward to Palmer, I actually took Bennett home, so I didn't stay the night with her. Just like throughout the pandemic, like once you leave, you couldn't come back, and so I stayed for the day. And when the time came, I didn't want to leave, but I had to go pick up Bennett and then take him home because we had the 2 dogs, and we don't really have the support system.
Sure.
That, unfortunately, that we just have to take care of things ourselves. And it was, so Palmer was born September 3rd, and it's still crazy. And, it's not like we can ask random people to, go pick up my son or whatever and stay the night with them.
Right.
And
especially during the pandemic.
And hey, by the way, I got 2 fucking crazy dogs.
Yeah.
Can you go?
Just hanging out at my house for a little while.
Yeah. So it was just a compromise. Like, okay,
do what you gotta do.
Hey, do what you gotta do. And okay, I was there for the whole day, and I think I left at 11:30 at night from the hospital, and then got to hang out the whole day with Bennett, talking about his new sister.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I don't think I told you guys this, but we didn't know, and I was convinced it was a girl all along, and throughout the day, it was, kind of talking to all the nurses and talking to our doctor and kind of going back and forth of what do you think it is? What do you think it is?
Right.
And so our friend Mary was like, it's going to be another boy. It's going to be another boy. And then last second, she convinced me. She is like, I was like, you know what?
You were flipped.
I was like, I flipped it. I was like, you know what? It's going to be a boy. And within 5 minutes, and God bless Dana too, she's built to have babies.
Yeah.
She's just a champ.
She's just, heard the story, Chelsea,
Yeah.
the power hours and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, Bennett was born like 2 pushes within 18 minutes.
It's amazing.
Palmer came in 1 push with within minutes, and the doctor had to tell her to stop. She's like, I'm not ready yet. She's like, no, it has to stop. So like mid push, Dana froze up, like, are you serious? And so in that moment, I was like, it's gonna be a boy. And then so everyone's like, yeah, it's gonna be a boy. And so the doctor's like, all right, Tom, call it when you see it. I'm like, all right, fuck yeah. You all ready? Like, all right. So you got to have Dana's leg, and then luckily that it was so easy to I can't understand how people can mistake things, but I don't know, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was clear as day, beautiful baby girl, and I just go nuts. I'm like, it's a girl. That's
awesome,
as long as I
man.
could. And Dana's just so shocked because she thought it was a boy too.
Yeah.
She's like, are you serious? So
It was amazing.
It was crazy, and it's like such a different bond. I mean, like same
Yeah.
boat as you.
It's
right?
definitely different.
Gives us the boy, and then now he's slowing the girl. Like it's a totally different dynamic. But I mean, back to Dana, and she's probably gonna slap me for this, but she's built to have kids, and I want to have another kid, and I think she's the most beautiful woman when she's even more pregnant. Like I don't know how you feel about
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
I'm like, oh my god, you are a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
I'm more in love with you now because we have 2 kids together, and I think you're more beautiful now than I ever thought you were ever.
Sure.
And
There's
even
something
though
about
you
that.
don't think so, oh my god, you've changed the world to me and my outlook, my mindset, and I appreciate that so much more. It's
It's amazing, man. It really is amazing.
it's just nuts.
It's so cool, man. You're right though. I mean, they're amazing. Women are amazing. You have to give them all the credit in the world because what they go through.
Yeah.
And I mean, I tell Liz all the time, you look great. I'm trying to make her just feel better because she does look amazing.
Yeah.
She really does, and she's doing something amazing. I'm just sitting here waiting. We just sit there and wait, and we just hang out.
Go get her.
Yeah.
We just
Go
hang here.
getter.
Yeah, that's what we're go getters.
Yeah.
And
I mean, at least, we've talked a lot, especially with new dads, right? Or getting ready to become a father, about what your role is during pregnancy and then while you're in the delivery room and things like that. And the reality is once you're on your second or then third, we do have a job then, right? Because there's another child, you have to, like you said, you had to go take care of Bennett, right? That's just doesn't stop just because you're having another
it's so
kid.
much more difficult when you have the second one because you have the other one at home. When Ben was in the hospital, we had to just jump around. It's can't just leave Sam at home by himself.
Yeah,
I mean, we had people helping us out, and it was a different time too because we weren't dealing with COVID. But it was we got to go spend time with Sam too. We can't just leave the kid,
Yeah.
So it was constantly back and forth, and with the second one, definitely gets a little tougher. We'll see when the third one comes. It's gonna be holy shit, man. I know that you from the beginning.
Hellraiser number 2.
Oh God, that little guy, man, he's something. But I remember when you were on the first time, and we said, what was that, episode 11, right around there. I remember you were telling us, you're I want to have
the crew,
the brew crew.
Yeah, Brew Crew.
So your number at that point was 4, I think.
It was so.
I think it might have been more. I don't know.
It was 4. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was always thinking it'd be cool to have
4 boys.
ultimate 4 boys, but Palmer ruined that.
Hey, let me tell you something real quick. And I don't mean to get deep into this because I'm jealous. I mean, I always wanted to have a daughter, right? And when we found out we were having another boy, it was Liz had this thought of how she really wanted to have that mother-daughter relationship. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted to have that father-daughter relationship, And we went through a hard time, and I don't mean to get too sappy with this, but it was
No, do it. Let's
well,
do
we
it. Let's do it.
when we
I wanna
found
cry
out,
today.
because I mean, here, trust me, listen,
All 3 of us are crying today. Okay?
it's happening tonight.
in.
So I sit here a lot, okay, and I get to hear the stories from all the dads, and I feel like every time it's I get to hear the stories of father-daughter relationship, and it sounds amazing. And I did really want that, and I'm very happy I'm having another. I'm so happy that it'll be healthy. That's all I care about because I've been through the shit where shit goes wrong, right?
More than most.
So Liz was having a really hard time with it, and she felt really bad. She's like, I don't care. She's like, we're having this baby. You know, I don't care if it's a boy. I just want him to be healthy.
Yeah, of course.
I'm like, absolutely. And she's like, and I told her, I'm like, we need to just get over this and just be happy with what we're having.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we both broke down at one point, and I was like, you know what? And it sucks because it doesn't suck. It's just, I feel like I really wanted to have that father-daughter relationship. I thought about how I wanted to take her to like the father-daughter dance.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never have that father speech at a wedding. I'll never have that dad and daughter dance at the wedding. Like, you know, that kind of shit. So it hit me pretty hard for a while, but then, you know, I'm like, whatever, you know, it is what it is. And I'm happy. I'll be so happy if the kid comes out perfectly fine.
So
At the moment, everything looks perfect. So,
right. And that's
all that
fantastic.
matters. That's all that matters, really.
Especially after what you guys.
I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that was the scary thing too. Was like, I told her when she said she wanted to have 3, she was dead set on it. And I was like, I'm good with 2 because I don't think I could ever go through what we went through again.
Yeah.
Odds are it wouldn't happen, but there's that chance.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Well, it's more
Shit,
real of a
man.
chance for you because you know, like, in theory, like that would scare the shit out of me about having another one, but not. I couldn't possibly be as in like scared of that as you, right? Because you lived it.
We went through it, and it was like we got the early scan of the heart and everything. We made sure that we had to go get the ultrasound early for his heart. So we went to Ben's cardiologist. We went there early. That was really early on. And sitting through that again, and sitting through the ultrasound. Yeah. Because, you know, we talked about this. When you sit through the ultrasound, the first time around, you know, like, they're like, okay, this is this. But like they sat around the second time, and they're like,
I wasn't allowed. I couldn't do anything.
Okay, so you didn't get to see it the second time.
So Dana just recorded some things and sent it to me. Like,
That's so tough too, man. I can't even imagine that.
I wasn't allowed to do anything.
It's so crazy.
I mean, I went to a couple things before we even like told people, right? And daycare was actually the first
Always.
people that we told.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I went to like the first visit and then the second one. And then by then it was, you know, March was the third, and then everything got cut off.
Right.
So then I wasn't allowed to do anything until the delivery.
That's so tough,
To go there to be up by her side.
Well, some guys didn't even get to go for delivery, like depending on what time and time of year.
nuts.
We had some people in here talking like that's insane.
I can't even imagine that. Like we did the. I was able to go for the anatomy scan and everything. So, but yeah, I'm back to like just being afraid to go through it again. Just sitting there again. Like,
I bet.
As soon as you get into that room, it's like, oh God. I mean, my heart's just racing. Like, usually you'd be sitting there with your phone, and I'm like, just sitting in the corner, like, oh my God, dude, just get this. Like, please, everything be okay. And luckily, everything was. So, but yeah, I mean,
congrats. Cheers to that. Right?
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. So that's all good shit right there.
And what I would say too is, the eternal optimist that I try to be is, there's sometimes that I think about. I mean, think about it this way: you are the youngest, and you have 2 brothers. So there's three guys that got to grow up together, and you guys are amazing friends to this day. You know what I mean?
And I have my 4 nieces.
And you have your 4 nieces.
I have 3 goddaughters.
Like, I look at it sometimes like we're 98% of the way confirmed that we are done. Like,
tiny little.
There's
I'm gonna when this one's born, I'm gonna just throw it all around
yeah.
Chelsea. She's like, oh my God, I just had another one.
But like, I do think about it sometimes though. Like, my son will not have a brother. My daughter won't have a sister.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and
that's where my head is at right now. Like, all right, we got 1 of each. Now, let's get 2 of each or 2 of one, right? Like 2 of one.
Yeah.
So if we have another daughter for the 3rd child, right? Great.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have each other.
Yeah.
At the same time, like if it's if it goes boy, girl, boy, then there's still that dynamic.
At the end of the day, I feel like any scenario can work. It's just a matter of how it's presented to them, and is your family together and doing stuff, and just, I don't know, it's kind of like a cliche, but like, you can live your best life with what you got. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
sure.
You can always look at the other side and think, well, oh man, what if we had 2 boys, or what if we had 2 girls and 1 boy instead, or what if we? I don't know. Like, I try not to think that way because, life gives you blessings, and you just kind of take it for what it is, right?
For sure.
Well, I mean, back to your original statement, like the brew crew, like I still want to be that paternal, leader of the family, and Dana having, being the maternal part of it, and like, yeah, if we can have our own larger family, so then they can have their closeness and siblings, and then their, to your point of, you have nieces and being a godfather, and like having that tight knit closeness that again, like, going back to the first episode that I didn't have, right? Like I want to give that to my kids because I didn't have that.
Yeah, it's so cool to have it, because I mean, just like with my nieces, and like for example, tonight they're at my mom's house. So one of them, Ben's at home, Sam's at my mom's house with 2 of my nieces. So my brother's daughter Penelope, and my other brother Mike, his daughter Mary, and they're all having a sleepover tonight.
Awesome.
And like they're like best friends. Yeah, my mom has them sleep over all the time, and I'm like, good Lord, my mom just had, she had cancer, and she just had surgery a couple months ago, like, and then like a few months later, she's like, okay, you want to have the kids sleep over? I'm like, Mom, are you freaking kidding me? I'm like, you're getting past cancer right now, like.
Yeah.
You sure you want to do this? She's like, oh my God, this is like, she's like, I live for this. Like,
She wants some more love, right?
yeah. And I mean, I love it. And she does a great job. And like, it's amazing. So like that close knit family thing, like you're saying, like I love the idea. Like look at us now, like my brothers, how close we are with our kids. Like we get them together all the time, and that kind of shit's awesome. And then the same thing like with Ian, like we have our kids get together, and they're like best buddies. Like Sam feels the most comfortable and the most outgoing is when he's with Ian's son Gibson. Like he's like a completely different person. Like even at the school,
right?
I picked up Sam the one day, and Sam's very quiet. And the teacher was like, "Oh yeah," she's like, "I never even knew." She's the Cub Care teacher.
Yeah.
She's like, "I never even really heard Sam talk too much because he's always so quiet." She's like, "Gibson came around, and she's like, there's Sam." She's like, "That's Sam's voice right there." She's like, "He was just, going nuts." So.
Oh, I mean, think about it. They've literally known each other since Sammy was born.
Yeah.
And we get together quite often.
Yeah.
I mean,
obviously COVID kind of screwed up things for us,
bit,
but we still got it. Yeah.
Yeah. We still a little bit, not as much as normal, but, and we need that because my kids are the only kids, certainly on my side of the family. And then on my wife's mom's side of the family, the only kids. So they have cousins that are on her dad's side, but just not as close, which, so like holidays and stuff like that, they all get together and it's fun, but it's just not the same. It's not an all the time type of thing.
Well, it's like, so Dana, her brother's my brother-in-law, Kyle, and his family now. So his wife, Tara, they live in Seattle. Mm-hmm. So Ben and Palmer's first cousin, Olive, is in Seattle, and so like we do FaceTime and do the virtual visits, that type of thing, because they've only hung out twice.
Yeah,
we're scheduled to go to Seattle again over the holidays, but then of course that fell through. So, and then my sister's daughter, Gwen, she's in high school now. So
I just saw what your sister said, something like she got a Facebook account, so I'm going to be tagging all of her baby pictures or something like that. I was like, wow, that's a thing now, right? Like,
she's ever been in. Yeah.
Think about that. I got millions of pictures of my kids, on my social media, and just to go back and tag them would be hilarious.
So my good buddy that I played ball with at Case, him and his wife started Facebook accounts for their kids when they were born.
Yeah.
And they control their accounts, and so they've been doing that all along.
That's very interesting.
So like any picture or like any event that they go to, I guess probably not nowadays, but they live in Florida now, and they're always like posting pictures on the beach and stuff, and like they tag their kids.
That's fun.
So then they have their memories.
Think about that.
When they like hand over their Facebook account,
right?
They'll have
you have all that.
They can go back.
That's pretty cool to look at
because details done.
As opposed to like what we would do is your parents pull out a giant box.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
here's all your old pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
So I did that for Bennett, and I've never used it because I'm never on Facebook anymore.
Right.
it's
So
tough though. I mean, it's tough to keep up with your own stuff. And like the only thing we really even post is just for the podcast. Like
Right.
other than that, we don't
It's
use our
very
accounts.
rare that I post anymore personally.
Yeah. Like every now and then I'll throw up a picture of the
It's
kids or
just too
something.
much.
But it's like,
yeah. I mean,
it's
it's
a
great
lot.
that like everyone can stay in touch and see some
Yeah.
highlights of their lives and stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of useful things for it, but I love that idea when they did it. And so I did when Brendan was born. I actually started I got him a Gmail account. So then like I bought his website. So like I have BennettBrew.com.
Oh, nice.
And I have
That's super
PalmerBrew.com.
smart.
So like dad hack.
Yeah.
So
Love
like
it right now.
because like a couple years ago I was like thinking, oh shit, one day all these virtual things like I mean that's gonna be retail. That's gonna be like something that
Of value, yeah.
value, right? So I'm like, okay, what's $12 a year to just
Right.
have the domain name?
Right. That's
And
actually
so-
really smart.
So like I have Bennett Brew and PalmerBrew.com.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great idea.
You're potentially saving your kid a shit ton of money down the line.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
If it is a useful investment.
well, at worst, what's it going to cost? A couple $100 over 18, 20 years, whatever. Like
So when I
how much is tombrew.com?
I have TomBrewJr.com.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
So Tom Brew was like one of those things that like
Yeah.
you can buy it for $500.
Yeah. Oh, that's not bad.
Or
At
I
least.
have no idea. That was a couple years
Something
ago.
like-
So I have no idea. If I checked it today, I have no idea. But
Yeah.
it was taken. Everything was taken when I bought my own domain probably 5 years ago now. So this is prior to kids. You know, when the craze was like, you know, you need to have your own,
Right.
you know,
Right.
persona,
personal
your
brand.
own personal brand. And
Yeah.
shit. So I was like trying to start something myself and thinking like, all right, like what can I do to differentiate myself? And so I wanted to build my own website. So then like, as you build your resume too, you can say,
Yep.
check me out online. Right.
Yep.
And and people do that. And so I just opted to be that junior and
That makes sense.
this is still when my parents were around too. So like, I was like, yeah, I'm a junior, so
Right.
I'm gonna
That
buy
makes sense.
TomBrewJr.com. And so I have it, and I've attempted to build my own website before, but again, things
Well,
get ahead of
what's-
you, and like you
Yeah.
don't need to, so it's never been a high priority of mine.
Sure.
So I've never like hitting the button.
You
and
know what?
finished.
It's one of those things that I think you're prepared at least. Like you don't have to go out and buy the domain or come up with like what domain actually fits because somebody else already owns it.
Yeah.
So you have that, and if it becomes a priority in your life, like you can sit down and do it. And the nice thing is it's so easy now.
Yeah, right.
And the other thing is websites today, and this is kind of interesting, are actually less criticized, I guess, for professionalism or whatever. Like using a builder, Squarespace or Wix or something like that
Yeah.
is completely fine. Like people don't really judge. Like you don't have to have like some beautiful like
Designer make it, and
you're
like
right.
thousands of dollars. To do it.
Right,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
at the end of the day, people care about content. Like people aren't taking the time to criticize every single like detail of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe that'll change again. But there was a while that like if you didn't have like a couple $1,000 professionally done website, like what was the point? What are you doing? You're just making yourself look like an idiot. You know?
Yeah.
And now it's just like get the information out there.
Yeah.
You know, do something, and then like build on it. You know, it's kind of a fun thing to do. I know we do it with our website. Is we make little tweaks here and there. And,
Yeah.
and we built it, and
You have fun with it too.
Which we'll be
Yeah.
changing again here.
yeah, we're getting ready to do an overhaul,
We are.
which you should do, right? Like
Actually,
it's
keep
just like
updating
anything
it.
else. It's like a resume. Like you have to keep it updated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people know when your website's a couple years old.
Oh, you can tell. You can totally tell.
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah.
when we first did it, it was like, we don't know what we're doing.
We
It
spent
kinda-
an hour
yeah,
and a half.
it was so easy to do it though. Like
Yeah.
it's so easy to make a website now. Like just the stuff that you could do. I
I
mean,
mean, the time to devote to it. To
Yeah.
like, to make it
Well,
right.
maintaining
and,
is a
like,
whole nother
yeah.
story because that's where the time comes in. Like just publishing blog posts or just keeping it up to date with relevant content. But like, I think a lot of that went away when you got social media because that's essentially what you're doing. You're constantly updating with photos and changing your bio and, you know, any relevant links, but you can do it a little bit differently on a web basis, and it just opens up other opportunities if that's what you want. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like when you had the first example of that was probably MySpace.
Yeah,
like, think about that. Remember how you could customize that?
Yeah, that was your own website, right?
Yeah.
Like it's thought of differently now because everyone has one, but well, not MySpace, but like everyone has an Instagram or whatever.
Exactly.
You have to work really hard not to have something,
Yeah,
you know, a part of your virtual world, you know.
Yeah. That's
Not even
true.
Social media, but like just being connected to all that.
It's
you know.
sure.
Yeah.
Sure. It's weird to see where we were, you know. I mean, kids now, this is all they've ever known, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But to where it's like when we were in high school, even there was no MySpace, there was no Facebook, there was no.
The internet was really just
It was
started.
the internet was.
Yeah, we
there,
had-
but
we had
still-
You had to go to the library.
It was
check on
AOL.
social medias and
yeah,
shit.
yeah. So
We had to use an actual dictionary.
yeah, and that's the source.
The source. And a Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah,
Remember that shit?
I remember that absolutely.
I mean, think about that.
But like, what's crazy to me is thinking
Insane. I mean,
it's kind of a fucked up way to like.
think about that.
I mean, I guess it worked.
It worked like a charm, but it was like, that's what we used. In
Yeah.
high school, even they had that.
Well, it's still in place, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, I haven't been to a library.
I've been to this
Curbside
library
only.
right here. I've taken the kids here, but I don't think I
It's been
saw
a
it.
while since I've been to a library.
I'll tell you what.
It's been over a year for me.
Took the kids to this library every Saturday for a while right before COVID. Like, we were going up there, we would pick out some books. They would play it. They have like stuff they could play with. They could go on the computers in there. It was great. I mean, it was something to do on a Saturday in the middle of the winter.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't see the old style shit there, but no, I didn't notice it. But it was a lot of fun. And then COVID hit, and then that went away for a while. We haven't been back since.
No.
But that was just a fun activity to do.
My cousin, they live in Fort Myers, and they have 2 kids. And they go to the library like 3 or 4 times a week because they have like children's reading sessions, and it's free. And it's like they just go to read new books and explore reading and like sit down in a circle and read together and stuff. And it's like,
because the libraries have activities
They
like
have
that.
activities,
Yeah, they have
yeah,
like
all
the
the time. They have programming
the
that's
book night
useful.
and all that stuff, and it's great.
Yeah. What I was going to say though is, so, you know, we went from absolutely nothing to then as an adult, like, okay, this social media thing, and like we're comfortable with it enough now that we do what we want to do. But I think a lot of us try to limit it, you know, just whether it's just not a natural thing or we're just busy. I mean, that's probably most of what it is we're freaking busy. But like, it'll be interesting to see what our kids, like what
the thing is,
you know.
Yeah.
Like, I worry sometimes that it's going to be like a pod that you plug into.
It's
and
gonna be a
like,
chip that
you
like,
have like
or
the.
like something in
You ever
your
see
eye or like-
Ready Player One?
I have not.
Oh, dude, it's a cool movie. It's insane to think about. So, but the whole premise is like it's a digital world, and you put like these glasses on, and like they have like haptic suits and all that kind of stuff, and then you walk around like in an open world, and you could just be whoever you want to be.
Yeah.
And there's challenges, and there's things. The whole thing in that movie was they were trying to.
They're trying to
Crack a
beat.
code.
They're trying to crack a
Trying to
code. You have to
break
find
it,
the
right?
Easter egg to be
The
able
Easter egg,
to
yeah.
own the company. That was
Yeah.
like
The guy that built the
So it was a big
world.
The whole-
It was a
Yeah, right. But
exactly.
like, think about that though. I mean, you think that we're connected now, and you know, you got, what do they call it, the phone neck or something like that,
Yeah.
where, cause,
for sure.
but like, think about that. Like, if we start like plugging
So we
in,
live in a 45-degree angle world now,
Right.
So.
you start plugging in, like, how addicting is the phone? Let alone if you're in a world that you can literally be somebody new every single day.
What was the movie?
Or you can-
Or even
Uh,
like hit a button on your face or something and being able to know like, yeah, I'm holding hands with Ian.
right,
You know,
right.
Like, you know, your body can feel that. Or
I like that. That's what we're doing in that scenario.
I
know
love
what
that
I'm
you guys
saying?
would be holding hands. That's fantastic.
touching someone, you know, like
Yeah.
But that's like
Right,
it goes
right.
back to that
Physical
haptic suit
response
type
from a
thing.
mental,
Yeah,
you know,
because
Right.
and I mean I don't think that's too far fetched. Because like, where do you go from here, right? You know, I mean,
the Oculus and all that stuff that's on their way.
that kind of stuff. Well, we talked about this before. Remember the commercial for Oculus where they have these guys are all sitting in their house and they're at a Lakers game.
Yeah.
And they're all sitting next to each other.
Rogan and like
Yeah, celebrities like Kevin Hart or something.
Hart,
Yeah.
they're like they're
And it's like
courtside.
yeah, they're courtside and they're like,
they're in their own
but they're
houses
home.
and shit. Yeah.
But that's not far fetched at all because they could easily do that. Yeah. And it'd be interesting. You'd be like, oh, let's get a ticket. Like you could maybe eventually they'd be like, we have to do this somehow where we're gonna make money. These NBA teams and shit. So it'd be like, we got to sell these as tickets.
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
And then
They'll make it work.
and then you're like, oh, I'll just hang out with my buddies while sitting in my family room, and I don't have to leave.
right.
And then all of a sudden, like we've talked about how the future is Wall-E.
Yeah.
You know, the people that are just sitting in these chairs rolling around and
I'm
like,
telling you.
and they just live in this virtual world. Like just.
What's that dumbass movie?
Idiocracy.
Idiocracy.
Yeah.
So that's what.
Bang!
Not now, I'm biting.
Such a good movie.
It is amazing, and we said that though.
So like,
We've said that that's the future. It's a combination of Wall-E and Idiocracy is our future. It's like, damn it. But there's another movie, Inception. So they have that group of guys that are like in that room all the time and they just live in the virtual world.
Right.
And you could be in your dream world doing whatever the hell you want. Living any life you want to.
Well, and think about it. The what's going to drive people is commerce, right? Like there's going to be money to be made in these virtual worlds, which is going to be the excuse to get people to be in it. And then it's just going to become like such an addiction, I mean, you can talk about the Matrix, you could talk about, any of those kind of theories about the virtual world, but like, fuck.
So let me ask you guys this. What are your kids' favorite movies?
Ooh, that's a good question. So right now I think Ben's is still Cars. The kid loves Cars, all three of them. The other ones are Wreck-It Ralph. The Wreck-It Ralph movies they love.
Great movie. Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, you would like it.
So good.
It's good.
Both of them are really good.
We try to with Bennett. So with the whole pandemic, trying to go back to like last March when we had him at home and we both were working from home and like we finally had to like put him in front of the TV, to get shit done.
Yeah.
So I say that because we tried to start Wreck-It Ralph and he's like, nah.
Really?
Yeah. So we haven't even gone through like anything like that. But what about you guys?
Okay, so my daughter is all Frozen all the time. Loves Frozen. Although right now she's really into Raya. The new one.
It's a new movie, yeah.
Raya and the Last Dragon. It's good.
Yeah, I watched it. I haven't watched it all the way through yet.
Yeah. My son, it's tough, man. He likes his shows now, which is hilarious to me. But he likes
Seinfeld.
He's running a joke a day. He's crossing out the X on the calendar.
Yeah, he's really into Chappelle's show.
Good choice.
You ever hear that Seinfeld thing though?
Yeah.
by the way? Yeah. So like Jerry Seinfeld, his whole work ethic and discipline was every single day. My job was to write one new joke.
Oh.
And so on his calendar, he would mark a big X every single day that I won that day because I wrote a new joke.
Okay.
So he wouldn't let the streak end.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've heard
I
that.
like
That's
that.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So no, he likes there's a show on it's PBS Kids. It's called Wildcrats. You guys know about it? But they
Oh, yeah, I do know what you're
explore different areas of the world and learn about a different kind of animal. And so it's live, like there's live people, but then they build a cartoon episode out of like wherever they're at. So if they're in the safari and they're like the one he was watching today was it a rhinoceros? It was a rhinoceros. And so like they'll do a little bit, they kind of cut back and forth and it's cool. He likes it.
You said that's on the PBS Kids thing?
Yeah.
They have some really, really good shows. They have the Word World, where everything is
Word World,
words.
yeah.
And it's
They're,
really
like,
good for like spelling and
flying
everything. Like,
around and
yeah.
shit like
And then
that.
they have the number blocks. So Sam was super into number blocks for the longest time. And the kid was doing math. He's like, Dad, he's like 8. He's like 2 8s is 16.
Nice.
I'm like, okay. And he would just tell me like different numbers. He's like adding numbers up. I'm like, just from watching that show for like a week,
That's awesome.
Well,
And I'm like, dude, all right, good for you, man. It's like
what's cool is they make these shows that are entertaining for the kids.
Mhm.
Because like we fell into the trap for a while where Gibbs was watching YouTube and he was watching these kid influencers all the time. You know, Ryan and I can't remember the other ones. Some of them like they play video games. Some of them they play with toys, whatever. And he was just getting to the point where like he was so invested in these other kids and
Having a negative effect.
yeah, it really was. And so we had to like just stop it. And I've always been I'm not a screen time bad type of guy.
Yeah,
you know
you
what I
guys
mean?
are
Because I
pro
think that
screen time.
there's
there is good.
There's value to it,
Yeah, I mean, there's some
certainly
good
value
things
to it, and I think that you need to be realistic as a parent, like especially like you said during pandemic, like at some point you got to get shit done. Like there's definitely value to it, and I think it's a good reward system too. But
There's good. It's good for reward and good for punishment. Be like,
yeah,
be like, hey, you get your shit done, do what you're supposed to do, and then you'll have that time
right.
to use your iPad for a little bit or your tablet or watch TV or whatever it is.
We do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a good thing because inevitably, that's the future of these kids. I mean, they're going to have to learn how to use these devices.
Right.
I mean, they had to figure out how to do for mobile learning. Our kids were at home, and you throw an iPad in front of them. They're sitting there unmuting themselves. They're flipping through their programs, and they're figuring out how to do it. I mean, that's life.
I mean,
Today,
not even 3 years old, and he knows how to like.
They're like swiping through pictures and stuff, and
get into my phone, and it's just ridiculous. I'm like,
today,
it's almost they pick it up so quick, man. It's natural.
Pictures, and he's like on a video. I'm like, dude, give me my fucking phone, man.
Right? So like, dude,
today,
years old. I'm like,
it happens, man.
Today, Gibbs had to do. He was off of school today for teachers to get vaccines, and so I was working at home, and he had to do some schoolwork. So I was like, dude, let's look at your let's look at your book bag. What's in there? What do we have to do? And he pulls out his iPad and he goes, I got it. I'm like, okay. And so like I was expecting him to like, hey, Dad, I need help doing this or whatever. It was like 45 minutes later. And I was like, all right, I better get him on task, And I look over there and he's making these videos, and it was part of his schoolwork, where he has to take a picture of something and then animate it and like put words to it and shit like that.
That's awesome.
And so he was taking a picture of Walter, the dog, our dog, and he's making his mouth move and then recording voice over it. I'm like, dude, are you serious? No, granted, it is very tutorialized. Like step 1, take a picture. Step 2,
regardless.
So they're learning structure, and
then
how
he's like moving like the mouth that moves over on top of like a filter on top of the. I was like, whoa,
amazing.
It's regardless of
it's amazing
that it's like the steps and everything, but the fact the fact that he's figured that out and he's doing it, that's pretty fucking impressive.
It's like, dude, you're gonna be a little content creator for us.
Yeah,
'cause
man.
I can't make that.
Yeah, can you work for us? Can he be our intern? Yes. There we go. Just train these little guys to be our interns. Be like, all right, you guys go set up.
Intern, child labor,
They don't have to do it. We don't have to record any of that. They don't know. We have interns. We don't have to say how old they
It
are.
was pretty cool though, and like I thought for sure he was gonna be messing around, which again, that's a pretty fun thing to do for a kid, especially. I mean, it'd be fun. I wish that's what I was doing, but like,
hell yeah.
I don't know. He was on task. He was doing what he needed to do. He checked it off. He showed me at the end, like all the things had a check mark on it. I was like, all right, you got your work done. Thanks.
Yeah,
I didn't have to do anything.
That's fantastic.
So I asked you guys that question of the movies.
Oh yeah, sorry, we kind of got off track again. That's how we do it.
Guess what Bennett's favorite movie is now?
I'm gonna go with
Ooh, his favorite movie.
Little Giants.
That's a good guess.
So it's something live action then. This is like this.
I'm thinking it's
guess,
just.
but
I'm
it's
trying to guess something that's off, like not what I would.
So is it not animated then?
It's not animated.
Wow. The Sandlot.
Goonies.
No, that's Dana's favorite movie.
Oh,
so she's.
Man, what
wants
can I
to,
think of?
That's scary though. It's some scary
Yeah, it
scenes.
is.
It is a little bit.
But for a 2-year-old, do you think Jurassic Park would be scarier than the Goonies?
Yes. Absolutely yes.
I
Because
should have known this. Actually, I saw Dana's post not too long ago. It was hilarious. Yeah. Hey man.
Kid loves all 5 of the Jurassic Parks.
I mean, if you think about it, that is pretty scary for kids.
They're
man.
terrifying.
Dude, when So on the first one, right?
The first one the most, I
The T-Rex eats the lawyer.
Yeah, on the toilet.
Yeah, on the toilet. Yeah. He fucking stands up and goes up to the big screen TV and roars like he's a fucking T-Rex.
Just chop this dude in half, and
Tears his shirt off.
the dude's legs go flying. Man, the guy just gets torn in half. Or the opening scene was terrifying too. Like the raptors are in the cage.
Oh yeah.
And the guy's arm gets stuck. Shoot her!
Shoot her!
God, I haven't watched those in a while.
Oh, you know what? It's a classic.
It is, man. I just think of Samuel L. Jackson. That cigarette.
Hang on to your butts.
Hang on,
Hang on to your butts.
It's hilarious.
Dr.
by the
Ian
way.
Malcolm.
And-
I remember as a kid, that was like one of my favorite things is that there was a character named Ian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is
yeah.
amazing. Not that he was like the best, but
Then he's
He was kinda awesome,
totally
though.
different in
Yeah.
the next one, by the way.
He's completely
If you
different.
watch the series, like he's like quirky and kind of out there on the first one, but then he's like the main character in the second one. And he is. He's a completely different character.
The second one is he's with his like daughter.
He's with his daughter.
Yeah. And those guys like hunt the
And
raptors.
there's a secondary island.
Yeah.
And so there's a whole new.
I haven't seen any of them in a very long
Yeah.
time.
So then the new ones, right?
How many of
with
the
Chris
new ones
Pratt,
are there?
There's two, but there's a third one in production. right
okay.
now, which I can't wait for because I'm actually excited about it.
Well, he'll be
Yeah.
It's
pumped
really
to see
good,
it.
right? So like we'll give him the option, like, all right, because he's always, can I watch Jurassic Park? Can I watch Jurassic Park? And we have like 1,000 dinosaurs everywhere around the house. You could probably step on a mini baby T-Rex somewhere.
Right.
Those things hurt, man. I've stepped on them many a time.
Yeah,
It sucks.
So like the new ones, right? They have like different dinosaurs, and so the first one is Indominus Rex.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's like Indominus Rex or Indoraptor. So like they make a brand new dinosaur for the latest one, and so he's like,
Which is genius.
Indoraptor or Indominus Rex. So he tells us like which one he wants to watch, and then but like the OJ, the original Jurassic, right? Like it's like just
OJ.
unbelievable. And his favorite scene, I kid you not, you're not even gonna like understand this, but
The Jeep?
no,
Oh.
when Newman, right,
Mm-hmm.
his character,
Oh, the guy with the
is in
freaking.
Costa Rica, right, and he gets the Barbasol
Yeah.
can, right?
Yeah. And
So
he's smuggling the
smuggling
DNA
the
out,
DNA,
right?
So like that first scene of when like Nedry is getting the Barbasol can, right?
Yeah.
So one day over the summer,
Is it called
sometime-
sweaty?
Yeah, over the summer sometime, he started saying like Dotson. I'm like, what is he saying? What's going on? Like, what is this? And he'd be like, Dotson. We got Dotson here. Nobody cares.
No, see, nobody cares.
See, nobody cares. Oh my god, I love that.
So then we finally watched like Jurassic Park, and we watch it as a family, and Dan and I look at each other, we're like, holy shit. He just is reciting his favorite scene, and he says it like every other day. He'll say like Dotson, right?
Yeah.
And so Dotson's like the bad guy that meets up with
Right,
Nedry,
yeah.
right.
Newman, and he gives him the Barbasol can, and he's like wearing his like cabana hat. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Newman Ned is like Dotson, because he said, "Hey Dotson, over here."
Right, and he's, like,
the
trying to
guy's
do
it. Don't say my name.
Don't say my
Yeah,
name.
It's like, see, nobody cares.
See, nobody
nobody
cares.
cares.
He's like, but it's funny.
That's amazing that's his favorite scene of that movie.
Nobody cares.
That's amazing. Like you think about when you watched that movie originally, and that scene kind of like just went right past
Oh,
you.
yeah,
You
yeah.
didn't even care because that
You don't
didn't
know
even
when you're
you're like,
eating
doesn't even
popcorn.
have anything to do with whatever.
Yeah,
Where's the
there's no
dinosaurs? Where's the
You're eating
dinosaurs?
popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
That's
Obsessed
funny.
with Jurassic Park and dinosaurs.
So let me ask. So you know the newer movies when the island's like exploding,
yeah,
the newest one,
newest one,
when that like I don't even know what kind of dinosaur it is.
Volcano erupts.
Yeah, and that dinosaur's on the dock,
The Brachiosaurus.
and he's just sitting there, and it's the most depressing scene you've. I mean,
Sad.
it's the
Sad.
it's the saddest scene you've ever seen. This thing's just sitting there, like the boat's going away, and
seen any of the
the
new
volcano's exploding, and this thing's just sitting there looking at him like, "Hey, what about me?" And it's so sad. I'm like, "Oh God, that's terrible, man."
I'll have to watch them.
Liz is like, "Oh, I gotta hate
They're
that
good.
scene."
The new ones are really good.
Are they?
Yeah, they're
I
good.
like
Chris Pratt's amazing.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite actors.
I don't know why I haven't seen those actually.
I just think about when
That's
that
right.
girl's running from the T-Rex in her high heels.
Oh, with the flare.
Yeah, she's got the flare. She's outrunning the T-Rex, and she's wearing these giant stilettos.
And she dives just on the concrete.
Yeah, on the concrete.
And then the T-Rex sees the Indominus Rex and is like, all right, game on, we're fighting now. And
Right.
Like, and so she's just sitting there.
Just like the original, the T-Rex is the hero, right?
There's a common theme in
There
all
is,
of them.
yeah.
The T-Rex saves the day.
T-Rex is awesome.
It's the best.
He's the king of the
It's the
dinosaurs.
OG. The OJ.
The OJ, man.
So we have Toby, the T-Rex. And so Toby's like a 24-inch like polyester, like squishy plastic dinosaur that it's like his teddy bear.
Okay.
And he takes Toby everywhere. So
That's cool.
Toby the T-Rex.
I love that, man.
He's
There's a book. You guys probably may already have it, but it's a book of all the dinosaurs, and it tells a little story about them, and it says how to pronounce what type of dinosaur it is.
we have a couple of those.
I mean, we used to read it to Sam all the time, and he would like say what dinosaur it was, and it was very impressive. Like,
Yeah, he says
it's hard to pronounce some of these names. It's incredible.
We'll be like, all right, what dinosaur is this? Iguanodon. What is this? Pachycephalosaurus.
That's awesome.
And he'd be like, what does he eat? Oh, he plants. Herbivore. Like, it's no fucking big deal.
So yeah, next question. Hello, what do you got?
Carnotaurus. He eats meat.
Yeah, it's like,
Carnivore.
where's the next book? Bring it
Come
on.
on, bring it on. What you got?
That's amazing.
Yeah,
It's amazing what kids can retain when they're interested in something, though, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you find their whatever they like, and it just works, man.
yeah, going back to like the shows and getting him off of the, I guess, bullshit, and into like how well produced the shows are on PBS Kids, that it holds their attention, they're excited for it, and then the stuff that they're reciting afterwards, and then like he'll get excited, like genuine excitement, like, Dad, get in here, you got to see this.
There's art and craft to it.
And he'll rewind it,
Yeah.
and be like, dude, look at how this eagle came down and what he can do to catch a fish. And I was like, oh, that is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty cool. And so he's excited for that. And, I'm thankful that there are shows like that.
There's a lot of very good
I mean, all we ever
educational
watched
shows.
was like Captain Planet, right? Which
Yeah.
is pretty awesome.
You know what's even better,
Power
Captain
Rangers or
Planet,
something.
is if you look up Funny or Die,
Mm-hmm.
look up the Don Cheadle version of Captain Planet. It's the most amazing
gotta
thing
be
ever.
amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's
I love Don
phenomenal.
Cheadle.
He's so good.
I wish I remembered or understood how he got it so into Jurassic Park, because I knew it was in last March somehow. Like somehow we came across it, and it was like, oh, there's a dinosaur, and like I can't.
So
remember,
he was
I can't remember how he
pr-
got so fixated on Jurassic Park.
Maybe you're flipping through like Netflix and you saw it, and you're like, you saw the dinosaur. You're like, how about this? And he's like, yeah, dinosaurs.
Yeah, but it's not appropriate for a 2-year-old.
No, it's
And
not.
At that time, he was not even 2. He was, a
It's
year and 3/4.
It's funny you say that too, because I remember this was probably 3 years ago, before when we traveled and things like that. We used to go to Chicago every between Thanksgiving and Christmas. They do a Disney parade there, and Chelsea's cousin lives there, so we would always go get a hotel right on Michigan. And so anyway, we're out there having a good time, ice skating, all that kind of stuff. And the one night, Chelsea's like, hey, and I don't even think Sloan was around, so it must have been 4 years ago. Had been 4 years ago. Shit. Anywho, so Chelsea was like, hey, do you care if I go out with my mom and my aunt and my cousin and stuff like that? You stay home with Gibbs or stay in the hotel? I'm like, absolutely. I'm tired. Like, we'll just go hang out. And, hotel TVs, there just wasn't like that many options. It's not like we had Netflix or anything like that. So I'm trying to get him to go to sleep, and it's a new place. So I just like had him with me. And so he must have been 2 though. So maybe I did have Sloan too, and she was just sleeping.
Baby,
yeah, baby. Yeah. But I remember Jurassic Park was like the only thing on that was like even remotely relevant. And I was like, well, I'll just like, he'll probably fall asleep quick. And he was wide eyed. And I remember Chelsea came home like 2 hours later, and we were watching the end of like the closing scenes or whatever. She's like, did you guys watch this whole thing? I was like, no, we didn't watch this whole thing. And he was just like, but
Yeah, I mean, there's a few movies I've watched with Sam that I think it was like Endgame.
oh yeah.
He was so into it, man. And I was like, this
the
is
Avengers
pretty
stuff.
freaking violent. It's like, But I don't know. I mean, he's just running around like I'm the Hulk, and he's like jumping off the couch, like just body slamming me and whatever. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think with any of that kind of stuff, whether it's appropriate or not is really up to you. And it's going to depend a lot on how your kid reacts to
for sure
having that stimulation, right? Like there's some kids that absolutely can't handle it. And then there's some kids that can, and then that can change in a matter of weeks, like how they react to different things like that.
For sure.
So, do your job, be a parent, like figure it out. What's good for your kid.
Yeah, talking about rewards. Like, so have you heard of Giganosaurus?
No.
It's like, so it's on Netflix. It's, I don't know like where it's actually broadcasted at, but it's like a collaboration of like Disney and TV France or something, but it's all in English, and it's Giganosaurus, and it's like a weekly show that's like 12 minutes long or something. Because there's 52 episodes in season 1 from 2019 on Netflix. And so like trying to create habits, it's like, okay, we have a hatch. And so we set the timer, like, okay, it doesn't work, by the way. Of like with Bennett, because he wakes up so fucking early.
Yeah.
But if he sleeps to the green light, green means go to come out of your room, then you can watch an episode of Giganosaurus before we go to dig it, right? But he'll wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and he'll want to watch it, and he'll just be like roaring like a T-Rex. That's Giganto. So like Giganosaurus is like, they have the big dinosaur Giganto, and there's like 4 little kids that are best friends, and they all like, there's always a positive outcome to learn, and like it's a learning opportunity of like what they experience and stuff. And like, long story short, there's always a good story to it, right? And they're it's just well produced. Yeah. And so it's a good, like, nice reward for him. So I say that because like he's so obsessed with dinosaurs. Like, we found this other show, and now he roars all the time. And like 6 o'clock in the morning, roaring on top of his lungs. I watch Giganto. So we started. Have you guys done anything like this? On our deck, so if you have to roar, if you have to scream, you go do it on the deck. You go outside. So we have a screaming deck now.
A screaming deck. I like that.
I love that.
So like, if you want to be a dinosaur, and if you need to get your roars out, this is the place to do it. You don't do it inside. You don't do it upstairs, because you're going to wake up Palmer and disrupt everything we got going on. You have to go outside on the deck.
So I'm going to put the early childhood education hat on for a second here. Like, that is so incredible for learning how to regulate emotions and just like social emotional health in general. Like,
you're finding a place where it's acceptable.
That's a very impulsive thing, right? And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I think having a kid wanting to roar like a dinosaur, bark like a dog, whatever it is, that's a very normal thing. But to get them to understand at 3 years old that, like, hey, this is okay. Because I think that's important too. Like, instead of just being like, no, that's not appropriate, or like, we don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, this is okay, but there needs to be some boundaries with that. And so to have a freaking roar deck, or what'd you call it?
Scream deck?
Scream deck?
Roar deck?
I like roar deck.
Roar deck, yeah.
The roar deck.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's
because it's so easy. Like you said, like a lot of times when your kids are getting crazy and screaming in the house, you're like, you don't do that.
Well,
you don't do that.
Because what we're trying to do is make sure that, like, the reason why you say no is probably because you were, maybe not in the last year, but prior to, is that you're in the grocery store or something like that, and all of a sudden your kid's roaring, and like, all right, it's a public scene and things like that. And so how can you tell them no there but not no at home? Well, if you teach at home that there's a place for it, then that just like reinforces that fact that, like,
that's your safe spot to get crazy.
Yeah.
That's sweet. I love that.
It's working a lot, by the way. And he asked to go outside now, right? And then, like, in the morning, if he's having a bad morning, which, when he wakes up at 6 and he's really sleepy, I have a bad morning, right?
Sure.
It's hard. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Just, you do what you got to do sometimes. And
yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not perfect. I lose my temper too.
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah.
And I go out in the driveway and I roar with him too. And like, let's get our roars out and let's get in the fucking car and go.
Yeah, let's get this out of the way. Let's get our little crap out of the way now.
That's
We
awesome,
are
man.
late.
That's
but hey,
awesome.
we all need a roar deck because as parents, as dads, we need to. You're gonna lose your shit sometimes.
I
you know,
would
you
benefit greatly from a roar deck.
if I just go out there and just scream for a second, like okay, let's bring it back down.
Well, I haven't done that, which I wish I can. I wish I
you could.
But you
should do it.
You literally could.
That would actually
I'll just
really
go down
help
in the
me.
basement.
People be like,
Yeah.
people be like, should we call the police? I just heard a grown man screaming.
Like Chelsea, I need a bourbon deck.
She's like, yeah,
So
that's
I don't lose my shit.
Yeah. She's like, cool. Yeah, that's my entire kitchen right now because there's 60 bottles on the counter.
It's true.
So it works though too, like to your emotional health comment too. Of okay, Bennett, we know you're frustrated. Do you want to go release some of that frustration? And we talk to him like an adult like that. Like
Yeah.
And I think that's like that goes a long way because
So
we've
good.
gotten a lot of positive feedback from daycare of him talking and differently like that too. Like, hey, I'm frustrated,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's great.
So, like, are you frustrated?
It's ahead of the game, man.
Why
That's
are
awesome.
you frustrated? You're mad because you're mad at daddy. Okay, that's fine. You can be mad at daddy. I'm not telling you not to be mad at daddy.
Yeah.
Right? I'm mad at daddy all the time.
Yeah,
Mom's mad at
right.
daddy too. Like,
Yeah.
it happens.
Everybody's mad at daddy. I'm used to it. I can take it. It's my life.
Nothing new.
Yeah. Here we go.
All right, good. Acknowledge that. And,
Right.
okay. Do you want to get some of that out? Let's go roar on the deck together.
That's
I love it,
awesome.
man.
And
That's amazing. That should be implemented everywhere. I mean, I'm going to implement. I
I'm gonna
know
give
for
it-
a fact I'm doing that because
I've already thought about how I'm going to do this with the kids because there are those days where, like you said, you're trying to just lay in bed and they're getting crazy and getting loud and everything. Like, just go outside real quick and just go scream it out real quick and then come back in.
Yeah.
So-
Take 30 seconds.
Because they have that energy. They're just excited. They want to be or pissed off, either whatever it's going to be. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I had a revelation not too long ago. So we got a puppy, right? And so Walter's pretty awesome. He's fantastic. He's been a good puppy.
Is he making heroin yet?
No, meth.
Oh, is that? I'm sorry. I fucked up.
It's all right. I got you though.
I knew exactly what you were talking about.
That one's just some of that blue.
Yeah. But no, like
I don't know my drugs. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
I've never done it.
Jeez Christ.
So Chelsea's cousin Jess, shout out to Three Trees Healing Arts. She's amazing at working with animals. She's like a master Reiki.
Oh yeah, you want me to pour you?
I got it, man. Thank you.
Okay. Just
I appreciate. I really appreciate that.
So Jess was over helping us work with Walter, right? Like doing your basic stuff, sit, stay, all that
Doing
kind of
Reiki
stuff.
to the dog?
No, she hasn't. She can. But we haven't gotten there. Like she's just helping us train him, right? And one of the things that she said, like from the very beginning, so we're crate training him, is never use the crate as discipline.
Yeah,
right?
that's gotta be
Like,
their their safe place.
That's their safe
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
You don't want to send him to his crate when he did something wrong. And
Which is hard to do, by the
It's
way.
super hard to do, especially like living in the apartment where like I can't put him anywhere. Like we're just on top of each other. So, but I had this kind of like thought. It was like, man, I've fallen into recently kids acting up or whatever. Go to your room, take a time out.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, go to your room and calm down. But what I'm really doing is I'm getting him out of my space and giving myself an opportunity to not completely flip out. When in reality, if I was to have a roar deck or have another outlet that we could just get it out and move on, that's probably a much healthier way to do it. And so I'm absolutely going to try and replace sending them to their rooms. By the way, I did that with Sloan the other day.
Sending her to her room.
Yeah. And her wall is now covered in crayon art.
Ooh,
She was pissed.
Little
It's really
vengeance.
good.
Like,
she did a good job with
take a
the
picture of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
post that.
I'll show you. I will. Yeah, I'll post it.
Yeah, like we try to use. I mean, because that's what you did, though. I mean, think about that. Growing up, that was
how
like
we were-
it's like
Go to
hey,
your
all right,
room.
go to your room. That's. I mean, how many times you hear that? Go to your room.
And the messed up thing today, like especially at our kids' age, is it's not really a punishment.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
they're going
Yeah,
in
yeah.
there and they're reading their books or they're whatever.
Bennett's got 100 fucking dinosaurs.
Yeah, there's toys in there. Like they
Yeah,
go on the
okay.
shelf. Like I
Oh,
sent
really? I get to go in my room? Cool.
Ben will do something wrong and he'll know it was bad. like you give him that look, and he's like, puts his head down, and he just goes straight to his. Well, he gets pissed off, and then he goes to his room and slams the door. Then I go in there like 5 minutes later. He's in there just having a blast. He's like jumping off the top of his bed and like just going crazy. I'm like, you're having a blast in here. This isn't a punishment.
Right. But again, we're probably doing that more for us.
Yeah, because you're like, get out of my sight. Well, you know what I used to do with Sam before the whole bedroom thing was I would make him go sit in the corner of the dining room.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing in there. So I'd like, go sit down over there. And he would find stuff to mess around with. He's like pulling on the curtains, just messing with shit. Yeah. So I was like, okay, fine, go to your room then.
Did you guys ever have, growing up, did you guys have a timeout chair?
We did.
We had a timeout.
I even had a timeout chair at we had a babysitter. Like my parents both worked, so like after school we'd go to a babysitter's house, and they had a timeout chair. It was this giant wooden rocking chair, and it had like on the top there. I still remember this because I used to pretend like it was a jet ski, because I would sit on this rocking chair and it had like these little wooden like things sticking out of the side. I would grab on it like it was handles, and I would just rock back and forth. I thought it was a blast going to timeout.
It's probably a sex chair.
It might. It's crazy. Right. Go to the swing. There's a swing in the middle of the dining room. This is amazing. We're going to timeout again.
Kinds of oils and.
What's this weird ball thing?
Yeah. My babysitter was a saint. Okay.
But no, like we had a timeout chair, and the whole idea, and there's still conflicting theories out there on whether or not timeouts work, and I actually think sometimes they can in very, very limited, like 2 to 5 minutes tops. Like you put a kid,
we do it like a minute,
right?
Like, did you think about what you did? This is why we got upset with you, and explain it to them, right?
I think it's the key is letting them settle down real quick, and then going and explaining to them,
right?
Okay, tell me why I'm upset, and then they could really think about it.
Yeah, and kind of have that mindset of like, which is hard, of thinking, okay, what did my parents do to like me, and like how do they raise me, and what can I learn from that? I think that what you said of like assessing what you did. Holy shit, like I'm taking him out of my space to put him back in his crate, basically.
Yeah,
like that's like metaphysical shit. Like you're able to see that. But like that's how I try to, and again, I'm not perfect because like my childhood was just being screamed at constantly. Yep. And like, it's like, yes, I've done that, and it's hard. And like, when you take a step back, it's like, I beat myself up a lot about it, and I stress myself out about it. Cause like, shit, I'm acting like my parents. What would I've really wanted to happen if I, in the best case scenario, what can I do then if I did act out that way? Can I go back and explain, right? Can I just communicate differently, and instead of just saying, go to your room with no explanation, right? Like, I don't know what I did.
Yeah.
Or like go to timeout.
And I think like as parents, we don't really know the right answer to everything. Yeah. We still don't, right? I mean, our parents, like you're saying, like, I don't want to, I sound like my parents. But in the grand scheme of things, you turned out pretty fucking awesome. Right?
You catch yourself. You're like,
you know what I mean?
Shit,
but sometimes you're like,
that.
you could try this different. You could implement some of the things that your parents used to do, but put a little twist on it and try something different that's like a little more now, right?
Well, we
like,
should try to improve, right?
Absolutely. There's different ways of doing everything.
I think that we fall into the trap sometimes. I know I do. Is I think of like when I say, oh man, my dad used to do that, or my mom always made me do this, and I remember those punishments. What we have to remember, too, is we're probably remembering punishments when we were 10 or 12. Right. And our kids are 3, 4, 5
That's
years
where the
old.
problem is you don't think about, because you don't remember before that.
And going back to what we talked about earlier, is I know your parents were really young. Mm-hmm. My parents were really young. Your parents. My parents
were, so my mom was, right? So I was born, I was the last one. My parents were 32 when they had me. So
same time age bracket we are now, but like, 18 years old, 21 years old,
right?
Like it's a totally different story. You're still a kid yourself, like trying to
figure it out.
Dude, can you imagine?
No.
So 21-year-old Tom Brew Jr.
You know what's fucked up? I'm gonna be 36, right?
I'm 36 now,
right? My mom was a grandma at 36.
Wow.
Can you just fathom that? Like, so Val.
My mom
was 18. Val was 18.
Wow. Yeah, you're right.
Like, just think about
that. That's
that.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Holy
it's fucking nuts.
smokes.
It's just to put that in
I
perspective.
can't even imagine that. Like,
I'm
you
gonna
can imagine.
36. I'm gonna be 36, and my mom was already a grandma when she was 36.
Oh,
Wow.
It's just nuts.
oh man. Yeah,
But now I have a newborn,
right.
and a toddler.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a newborn at 36. Like,
Jeez,
yeah, it's crazy,
yeah.
man. Yeah, and like,
It's like,
it's
it's
so weird to
that's
think
a
about.
mind
It's
fuck.
crazy.
That's crazy. That is, jeez.
You made a good point, and I'm really thinking about it right now. Is like, you're right. Like the things that we're thinking about, like what our parents used to do and how they used to punish us, was probably when we were like 10 and 12 years old, right? Like that's.
I mean,
Sometimes
science
I
says that
feel
you're
like-
not remembering when you were 3 years old what you were being punished for.
No.
You know what I
You can
mean? Like
remember
you can
pretty-
remember.
There's some things that you might be able to.
like very
traumatic events and
specific
stuff.
things, like traumatic events,
Yeah.
or like even something really good you might be able to remember.
Mm-hmm.
But the day-to-day stuff,
Yeah.
you're probably thinking more along the lines of 10, 12, maybe 8, something like that.
But if you're 5, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is, and you have that burning memory of the traumatic event, like I got sent to my room for no reason, like I don't.
Yeah, like my
why
parents were
still,
flipping
but
out on
that's
me or something like that. And then you think about that, you're like, then you're beating yourself up over it. You're like, I just traumatized my child at 5 years old because I expect them to be an adult. I'm like, why don't you just grow up? It's like you don't think about that kind of stuff.
So I was thinking about the like being sent to your room thing, and I can vividly remember being sent to my room at our Men on the Lake house, and I was thinking, oh well, maybe it's not that far off, But then I remember that my brother was there,
Okay.
and my brother was not like a baby; like he was up there with me in trouble. So he was at least, at bare minimum, 4 or 5 years old, which means I was 8 or 9. I was like, huh, okay. Now, granted, my brother was there too, so it just was what it was. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I think about that kind of stuff. And
yeah,
whether
you're right
it's,
though. That's a very good point.
like one of the things that my mom, I don't know if you guys remember, like specific punishments that were different. So like I always had an option when I got in trouble. It was like, do you want dad to punish you or mom to punish you?
Mom, please.
And so for a long time, it was my mom. Well, my mom, bless her soul, she always made me write what I did wrong. And so I would have notebook. I mean, dude, in my bedroom, I had notebooks stacked.
Not
with, like
surprised.
shit that I did wrong. And like, I'm sure early on it was like, write it 10 times, write it 50 times. It got to the point where I was writing thousands of times that, it's like the Bart Simpson thing.
Yeah,
with the
yeah. Chalkboard.
Yeah. But like, I would have to write. And I mean, if like most people look at me when I write something now and they're like, holy shit, is that your handwriting?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it is. Like, and I
Ian was like
credit
making
that.
Yeah, you have
to,
amazing
like,
handwriting.
I fucked up a lot. And like, mom would make me write,
Have you ever talked to your mom about that though?
no, I really haven't actually. I
That'd be
should.
interesting to know. Like,
Yeah.
if her mindset was one way or another of like, I wanted you to think about it. So like my theory of you're writing it down, so it's burned in your memory.
Right.
Because
Writing it down is the best way to
Right.
do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's 100% right. And
Tell her to listen to this episode
Yeah.
and just be
yeah.
like, thanks, Mom.
She actually listens, so she'll
Okay.
probably hear this and she'll call me out.
Yeah, man.
This will be the test.
You know what got me thinking the other day about kids and just being themselves. You want your kids to be kids.
Yeah.
You know who got me thinking the other day a lot during our whole business mastery thing was Kinergy. The other day, it was just you and I were the only two here at the time. We were
Okay.
dancing back there. We're standing next to each other. And it was that part where the main girl was like, all right, now close your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
This is
like,
after
the
we're exercising.
meditation
And she's
stuff
like,
part.
and she's like, just think about when you were a child and everybody just told you,
Mm-hmm.
grow up.
Yeah.
Just grow up. And you stopped imagining. You stopped dreaming. You stopped doing these things because the whole world just told you to grow up and start thinking about being an adult. And it's like, holy shit, like we should be telling our kids to
Yeah.
stay
Dance.
young, dance, be crazy, use your imagination, dream big.
I mean, that was kind of a cool part where they were like, think about it. You dance before you could even walk.
Yeah.
And like, that's their whole thing is just like express yourself by movement. And like, it's just a healthy way to get energy out and bring energy in.
It's true though. I mean,
Like,
you're,
I thought about that when she said that. I was like, huh.
you're
right.
right.
You do dance
That really hit
before.
me though. Like I was sitting there thinking about it. I was like, holy shit, man. Like that was giving me chills listening to her say that kind of stuff. I'm like, you're right. And I try to, and that night or the next day I was with my kids and I'm like, telling my son, I'm like, just always use your imagination, be creative,
Yeah.
just dream about awesome things. You know, I'm
You
trying to
have
just
right.
let them be like, hey man, do your thing. Like you're 5 years old.
Well,
enjoy yourself.
So
you know?
here in 2021, like even at 5 years old, so Gibbs is getting ready to finish kindergarten, right? And he gets report cards, and there's standardized tests, and there's, and so it's very easy to fall into the trap of like, dude, you got to bring those grades up, or you're behind in your speech or your math or whatever. And it's like, we look at those as parents and we're like, oh, see that damn YouTube, or, we want to put a blame on something.
Yeah. You're trying to find a reason
When in
for it.
reality, like,
What's the scapegoat?
a lot of times, what are we doing? What are we prohibiting them from actually learning? And it's not to say that, YouTube's not an issue sometimes, but like,
Yeah. I mean, everything.
but you're right though. Like, let them be kids and let them express themselves as long as we can, because I'm telling you, like, even at 5-6 years old, the standardized tests and the expectations are there. And it comes from a good place, I think, right? Like, we all want our kids to excel and be the best version of themselves. Whether we go about that in the right way or not is still to be determined.
Here's the
right?
deal. They'll be okay and they're going to figure it out.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
This time from 1 to 5 or from baby to 5 is just this small window of them being themselves and being these creative little
With no
creatures.
external pressure.
Exactly. And it's like early on, you're already like, why aren't you doing this? Like, you should be doing that, and you expect so much of them, but that little window is so tiny, and it's just a little portion of their life that goes by in 2 seconds. And it's like,
Right.
you just got to let it be.
Yeah.
They're going to figure it out.
Because you're molding them
Yeah.
to the person they're going to be, right?
Yeah. And I think that it's important to just let them be, because there's plenty of time for all the other shit.
Yeah.
This is that small time where they get to be just kids, like toddlers and kids. Like, it's just, it goes by in 2 seconds, man. I mean, not for them, but for us. Like, I mean, now watching
right.
kids grow up, like, I mean, when you're
yeah,
little,
Palmer's going to be 7 months old soon.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
holy shit,
it's like, whoa, she was
gonna be, like,
born yesterday, it
Palmer.
seems
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
right?
Yeah, like, holy crap, like, I can't believe we haven't done anything special with her yet. You know,
Right.
like, that's what's the reality of it. Sucks, but like, yeah, it's like, holy shit.
Just like that, man.
Wow, she's going to be 1 in a few months. Like, we got to get going here and do something cool.
I know. It's like people tell you all the time. They're like, I remember when Sam was 2, we were at a restaurant and they're like, oh man, it was like some grandparents and they're like, oh my God. I remember when my kids were that age, they're like, enjoy every second of it because it's going to be gone and they're going to be adults before you know it. And it's like, yeah, cool. Like, he's 2.
It's hard in the moment to take that.
I told the woman too, I'm like, I know I'm trying to take it in. I know it's cliche, but I'm like, I'm really trying to take this shit in. But he's 5. He'll be, it's like,
Dude,
it
you
went
know
by
what, though?
in
That's
a
what I
flash.
love about doing the podcast is because we talk about this stuff quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I really do think that it does help me remember that because it's very easy to forget.
Puts them in perspective.
Yeah.
It does, and it
keep
helps
it,
to,
front of mind.
Yeah.
because you come in here and you talk about it, and then it resets you, and you kind of like, okay, helps you realize what's going on, takes you back a little bit, and it's
So like, I remember Angelo a couple of weeks ago, right, saying
Mhm.
like, Isla makes everything better, right? And like when I have like the same routine, I think a good thing too of how I have reflected on, okay, kid 1 to kid 2, and like you figure out what you're good at, right? And like I think to your point or 2 of like, what's your job of like being the dad? All right, I'm going to feed my daughter her bottle every morning, right?
Mhm.
Because I can. And so I'm going to do it. And like that feeling of I get to provide her nourishment every morning and then like sing her a silly song.
Mhm.
Like I'm big on like stupid, like I
Yeah.
like a song and everything. So Bennett's doing all that stuff. But like I like to reset my day. Like even if it's a shitty morning, like I wake up on the wrong side of the bed because I'm human and I do that a lot because I don't sleep well or
Mhm.
like,
guilty. Yeah,
Mhm.
you just wake up in a bad mood sometimes.
yeah.
And
I mean,
you see that like cute, adorable face, and she smiles at you, and like my little song is like, "Good morning, Palmer makes the morning good." And like she'll smile, and like my heart melts, and like I just
It brings you
have a
back
great
down to
morning.
earth, man.
Then like everything is great from then on. Like if even it's 5 minutes, but like it puts things in perspective again. Like like her smile, and like because I made her smile that way and laugh a little bit because of my stupid little song. that I say every morning now. Like
Dude, that's another
really
dad
makes
hack
it-
actually,
makes it
because
perfect.
I do something similar, and I've actually, Steve, I've actually heard you like your handshakes
Yeah.
with your
Yeah,
kids,
the
like
handshakes. Yeah,
having
yeah.
something with your kids. Like I know, same thing for the morning for me. Like I'm not a morning person.
Yeah.
I'm up till midnight, 1 o'clock every single night, no matter what. And I'm usually up at 5. So like my sleep is terrible. Like, and I know this, and I've been trying to work on it, but you know, it is what it is. But like, there's a lot of times I have a thing with Sloan that I do in the mornings, and it's more for me than anything, but it also brings a smile to her face. Is I'll look at her, and she's also not a morning person. Like it's hilarious.
She's already a teen.
She's a freaking mess
a
in the
diva.
morning. Like her jammies are all like messed up, and her hair's everywhere. You know, whatever. But I'll have to reset sometimes, and what I'll do is I go, Sloan, how'd you sleep? She goes, I slept good. And I'll say, did you have good dreams?
Yeah.
She goes, yeah. I go, what'd you dream about? And it's the same answer every time. And she says, you and me about snuggling.
Nice.
And she says, you and me about snuggling. Just like
love
that.
that.
And like that brings joy to me, and she smiles, and I'm like, okay, we're good. We can wake up now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to do that, and I'm trying to be better about it, because same thing. Like when I wake up in the morning, I'm just cranky. Like I'm like, I got to get out of the house. I got to get to work, and I'm trying to get the kids ready, and it's just the anxiety starts to build.
There's a million things going on in your mind.
And you're
I gotta
trying
get the kids ready. I
I
gotta
get the
gotta
lunches out. I got to make sure, and like,
Right.
oh God, you keep looking at
Shit,
your
I got
watch.
that
You're like,
meeting that I got to get to.
you're like, I'm like, I got to be there. I got to go. I'm like, you guys need to get dressed. We have to leave, and you're like, and then you're yelling at them, and it just doesn't work. And then,
Find something to.
so I think that, and I'm going to go back to the whole Tony Robbins thing, man. This has completely reset so many things in my life.
Good.
The way that I've been, and it's only been a few days, but how calm I've been, and just realizing the moment, like, yeah, sure, like we got to get out of the door, but I'm being more understanding. I'm like, hey buddy, listen, we just got to get dressed. We got to get out of here. Whereas I used to be like, we got to go. Why are your socks not on yet? Why are we not in my car right now? What are we doing?
10 minutes.
I'm
How
like-
are your shoes not
I'm
on
like,
your feet?
How many times do I have to tell you to put your
Right,
shoes on?
right.
And they have no concept of time.
No.
Yeah.
They don't realize that if I'm late to work,
And they don't know
or
you're
if they have
they're wasting your time.
exactly,
That's-
and
yeah,
it's like, dude, chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
And I've been
But some
so
days,
much.
like, right, you just can't.
You just can't.
help yourself.
You can't.
Like it's.
And I'm just trying to see the big picture there.
And by the
And-
I
way,
think that's okay to.
it's okay.
share-
It is
Exactly.
exactly. I'm
People
not doing a
know
terrible
that,
job,
right?
and we're harder on ourselves,
yeah.
Yeah.
because then you go and then you leave the house and everybody's gone and everything's just fine. Everything was fine. It was not a big deal. And then you get to work and you're like, motherfucker,
Yeah.
why did I act like that?
Yeah.
Right. I know.
I didn't have to yell. I didn't have to
Yeah.
freak out.
Yep.
You know, and I'm trying to be better about that.
Yeah.
And just trying to be more patient and just realizing the big picture.
I think the important thing is that we can acknowledge that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
we're trying to take the steps forward to improve. It's not easy, which no matter how
Again-
much you tell your wife, it's not,
Yeah.
like you at least you can have that step forward of I fucked up.
Yeah.
and I'm
It's
sorry.
okay
I-
to not be perfect.
and-
Nobody's perfect.
And
We
we've
are
talked
not
about it
perfect.
before too. It's like, if you could go and think about it and try to make the change, then you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you could realize what you're doing, if you just do it every day and it's like, this is the routine,
Yeah,
you don't
if
think
didn't
about it at all.
it,
If you don't
right.
think about it, then you're kind of messing up a little bit. But I think that if you could sit back and realize, like, okay, I screwed up today. I shouldn't have acted like that. It's going to happen
And by the way, even if you don't realize it until
later.
later, but you
But you still-
eventually realize it, like, okay, that's okay. That is your opportunity to say, how can I change this? Do I need to get a roar deck? Do I need to sing a silly song? No, I mean, I'm being serious.
Yeah.
No, I'm just laughing because
what
I'm
can
thinking
you
about that.
use?
Roaring on it, and, you know.
Yeah, but
What can you use? What tools do we have to
Yeah, it's a
use?
tool-
Because
yeah.
it doesn't.
It's
doesn't
about
cost
building your
anything. It
toolbox.
doesn't. Right, building your toolbox to say, how can I better support my family? Because I know for me, when I'm a jerk in the morning and high strung and everything else, I know that my wife has a bad day or not as good of a day.
Yeah,
I know my
yeah.
daughter, my son, you know what I mean? Like those, I mean, you can probably, this would be an interesting study, you know, for a while there, especially when they just went back to school. Gibbs had a little bit of a rough time. Like he's very,
Rambunctious.
Rambunctious, handsy. Like he was constant. Like me and Gibbs wrestle a lot, so like that's probably part of it. Is like he was out of school for a little while, and then he, gets back into school, and then he's playing with his friends or whatever.
That's natural.
But like I bet if I was really honest with myself, and I could find the data, which I can't, but the mornings that like I was a psychopath, I bet those are the days that he was acting up. You know what I mean? Because it just sets the whole day off.
It sets
for
the tone
everyone.
it sets the tone for the day.
Yep.
Because I mean, then you go into work and you're shitty,
Yeah.
right? You're like, oh, my day is already ruined.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, and like a lot of times, like I would notice, like, all right, I was like that in the morning, and then by the end of the work day, like I got my shit figured out, right?
Yeah.
Like I accomplished what I needed to do.
then you could go home, and then
I picked Gibbs up from school, and he had a bad day. So now I'm pissed again because I'm like, dude, we've talked about this. Why are you doing this? And then it's like starts to cycle over again.
well, because you're sitting there at work and you could think about it all day.
Yeah.
So you're like, how am I gonna fix this when I get home? You're like, okay, I'm gonna be a completely different person when we get home. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna do this.
Yeah.
And you're right. Something happens, and you're like, oh, you're right back there again. You're like, son of a bitch. And then you go to bed, and you're like, God damn it, I did it again.
Like, so I take the kids to daycare basically every morning, right? And like, if I have those bad mornings, then we have a good 10-minute car ride talk to say,
That's
like,
nice.
This is what I was feeling. What were you feeling? To acknowledge those emotional
Right.
states, right? And like, and then build him up too. Like,
Yeah, you got
like, hey, no matter what just happened, like, hey, we're gonna have a great day, and and by the way, let's go see these horsies because like hopefully they're out and they're getting some fresh air, because like every time we always look for we have like little like
You guys out in the
icons
country.
and stuff. Like, well, yeah. So there's a barn. There's a big red barn with 2 horses that like, we try to see every day.
That's cool.
And then it's just amazing, right? Of like how observant kids can be, and like trying to like hone those skills, and it's a whole other tangent we can go on. But my point is, like, I always make it intentional of, hey, buddy, just because we had a bad moment doesn't mean that it needs to wreck your whole day.
yeah.
And I know he's not even 3 years old, but like he understands that, and he's like, I'm like, you know what, we're gonna hug it out, and you're gonna have a phenomenal day. You're gonna learn so much more stuff today. You're gonna have an awesome time playing with your friends. You're gonna learn more stuff, and you're gonna tell me all about it when I see you next. Right? Awesome. Give me a hug and kiss, and you have fun. Right?
So I'm not surprised, but I'm really glad that you continue to talk to your children as I don't want to say as adults, but as humans. So I remember from the first time you came on the show, and you were talking about taking Bennett into the grocery store, and like you would get these weird looks because you're like, all right, dude, we need to go get asparagus now. We're gonna go over here to this aisle, and because I used to do that with my kids, like,
Which sucks because I can't do it with Palmer.
yeah,
Like I do that at home. Like I'll do it. I walk around and like take her down the driveway. Like, oh, we're going to get the mail at the mailbox. Here's the mailbox. I'm like, open the mailbox. Oh, there's no mail. Oh, where's the mail at?
But I guess my,
It's like, back up the driveway to the house.
I guess my point is for guys out there with like infants, starting that early leads to at 3 and 4 years old being able to have conversations with your kid about what just happened, and like Monday morning quarterbacking, like exactly what went on, even if it was 20 minutes ago, what went on, like practicing that in the grocery store or at home, walking around in the neighborhood, whatever it is. Like, you might think that it's weird to talk to your kid even though they can't communicate back in words. They understand, they're beginning that understanding of a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Of a conversation, and that pays so many dividends later.
Yeah.
I mean, I like talking to you a couple years later now about it, like which is insane to me, by the way.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah, it's basically been 2 years, right? So, but I think that's so cool, and it's fun to be able to see that correlation. and it just kind of hit me. So I wanted
Yeah.
to throw that out there. Yeah, that's cool.
I do miss that though, man. I do miss the walking around the store talking to them like that though.
Dude, it sucked. Like, I mean, we've been in lockdown. Like, true. Like, I was supposed to, we were trying to plan stuff for the holidays, right? That's why I got you the gifts. But,
Yeah, we were trying to pack.
yeah. And, we haven't gone out to dinner. We haven't done anything. Bennett's never been in Target, right? He knows. He's like, we're gonna do pick up groceries.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like,
Yeah, they're at the front door.
yeah, we're, like, delivery. Like that type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I
do
think about
wonder-
that's funny though because I remember going grocery shopping like with Sam.
It's such a good thing to
And
do
like,
with your kids.
It is, man. It was
Yeah,
great. Like,
yeah,
I'm like, I
it's
got the
a
list, buddy.
whole
Let's go. I'm like,
experience.
okay, for now we got to go get the milk. Now we got to go over and find the cheese. And like, it's just, it was that conversation walking through the store. We haven't had a grocery shopping day.
Yeah, I've never been.
No.
Palmer's never been into a store.
We just
She's
have
said
it- it's
once
just dropped
before,
at the
but
front
she's never
door.
Been into a store or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just shit's getting dropped off at the front door.
Yeah.
Now the kids are like, "Hey, Dad, your Amazon package is here. What'd you get?" It's like, oh, it's not something for you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, every single
Oh,
delivery.
yeah.
Is there a dinosaur in there?
So you know what we started
He
doing?
starts pointing. He's like, "Is there
No, buddy, that's
don't
for me.
fuck with me, Dad. Is there a dinosaur in there?"
Seriously, what is it?
Oh, wait, here's another quick dad hack, actually.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa,
Whoa.
Technical.
There was a ghost in here or something. Freaked me out.
All right, quick dad hack for Amazon packages and things like that. We added another address into our account with the kids' names on them. So that way, when we do get something for them, we can look at it and they can, it's GIBSON or it's SLOAN, like they know it's for them. So it serves two purposes. One, like, because again, we're not really bringing them in stores. So like when we have a reward of getting a new toy or something like that, we look it up on Amazon,
Yeah.
and we'll do that. But then also what's nice is so then they read it and they understand whether it's for them or not. So like then when we order things that we don't want them to know about, like for a holiday or whatever, we address it to us.
Yeah,
and so
yeah,
that
that's
way
a good
they
idea.
know it's not for them. They're not interested.
Yeah, they're off the track. Yeah, I get that. That's awesome. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And so we started doing that because my mom actually did that. My
Addressed it to
parents
the-
are in
yeah, yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah.
So
Started
they
addressing
would,
it to the
She
kids.
would send stuff to them and she would address it to the kids. And I was like,
Yeah.
we should do that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, like over the holidays, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We've had gifts sent to us with Bennett and Palmer, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's like
Right.
that. I didn't. That's a great.
It's really easy to
pretty
do
cool.
too.
We just did it for Easter. Like we like buying some stuff and whatever and for their Easter baskets. And before we checked out, I was like, dude, put it in our cart.
Yeah.
Don't put it on them because they're gonna see the package. We get home from daycare and like they see if there's a package there, like, oh, But
Yeah.
I'll
What's
say,
in
all
it?
right, let's go see who it's for.
Yeah, yeah.
And they'll say, oh, it's
Just
for
teachable
you.
moment. Yeah.
It's for you, and then they don't care. They
Yeah.
run inside the house.
That's dad's, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So the whole dinosaur thing got started because of the reward system, right? Of like, if you do X, Y, and Z, and we have a responsibility chart, and we have a separate potty chart too for the potty training, and he's like 99% done. I mean, he poops more on the potty than Daddy does nowadays. So it's like, he pooped twice today. It was awesome. He's been dry for
Good.
I mean, like 3 weeks straight. So I mean,
Good.
Yeah, potty
I'm
training.
still saying
man.
99% because
So-
there's always like a.
Oh, it's gonna
yeah.
happen.
You know what? Hold on. Time out.
He doesn't wear pull-ups at daycare at all. Like, he's only straight underwear now.
Cool.
We put him a pull-up at night, but he's been dry for literally like 3 weeks straight now.
Okay.
And, I mean, he, knock on wood.
So
he's
no
been
one ever
good.
tells you, so maybe this will help you out. No one ever tells you how much more potty training there is to do after they're potty trained.
Oh yeah, for like trips. and,
Wiping
like
asses.
yeah.
Like yeah, they're potty trained. Like even like Sloane's 3.5, and dude, there's sometimes like, and it's bad enough to where like she'll be like, I have to go potty, and she'll go and she'll come back and I'll be like, Sloane, did you wipe? She's like, yeah, I wiped. I'm like, okay, and I'll like, it's time for a bath. Like you did not wipe enough.
It's terrible, man. Like Ben, it's so terrible. Like,
you ever see a kid try to wipe their ass?
yeah, it's disgusting. It's terrible.
They take one sheet of toilet paper, put it on their finger, and like touch a cheek.
I'm like, dude, like, what are you
good?
What are you doing,
That's
man? It's
good.
like,
That's good.
You know, he wipes his penis.
Oh,
does
really?
he?
Sorry, B. He'll be like, he'll take it one like sheet. He's like, I'm gonna wipe. Like, even if he goes pee, he's like, he wipes his penis. I call it penis. Like,
Yeah.
I'm calling it what it is.
Yeah,
Sure. Vagina and penis. And because I started that because a couple months ago, when we first started this whole process of like, oh, you're going pee pee.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't touch your pee pee.
Oh yeah,
And it was like,
it's
well,
confusing.
oh shit, that's gonna be really confusing.
Yeah,
Why don't we
yeah.
Call like, let's just call a spade a spade. It's your
Yeah.
penis. Like, don't touch your dick.
Yeah.
I tell him like, don't touch your dick,
Yeah.
and you know, like that type of thing. So I talk to him like a human, right? I'm like, all right,
Right.
like, you just went pee pee out of your penis.
Wait, hold on.
So like, yeah. Quote that. Yeah, that's a segment right there. Like, pull that clip off.
yeah, that's it. We got it. I already marked it down.
Today we were checking out the new house, and it was so like the driveway is just a mess. Like we've had some rain, and like there's just mud everywhere and rock and all that kind of stuff. And so I had Walter, I don't know why I got him out of the truck first, but then I went to go get Gibbs, and Walter, I mean, he's a dog, right? Like he just they look for mud, and like he was down right next to me, and I'm trying to get Gibbs out of his seat, and he Walter just goes right in the mud. I'm like, Walter, you dick! And I just like that, like, you know, and Gibbs goes, don't call Walter a dick. I'm like, oh!
That's awesome.
Whatever do to you, Dad. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Man,
Don't be an asshole, Dad. Don't call him a dick.
So Dana called Bennett a crackhead today. We got him because the power was out, and so we're like, let's just drive around, kill time.
Yeah.
Palmer can take a nap.
Nothing else to do.
We went to. He's like, so Dana picked the kids up from daycare, and she's like, you can have anything you want for dinner. What do you want? He goes, chicken nuggets and French fries. Okay, so I was at home. They came and swung by, picked me up. I'm like, all right, what are we doing? Like, well, Bennett says he wants chicken nuggets and French fries. Okay, where do you want to go? So it was Chick-fil-A.
Mm-hmm.
We did that,
So good.
and we're like, you know, you're having a really great night. And we ordered food too because we're just driving around.
Right.
We literally drove around for an hour and a half tonight.
Yeah.
And just wasting time because what are we gonna do? Sit home, be cold? And
Yeah,
right.
nothing else to do.
so we just drove around the whole, you know, Greater Willoughby Menor area, just back and forth. And he ate his dinner, and we picked up food at BJ's, and we went. All right, buddy. Like, Palmer's sleeping, so you know, if you make good decisions and you don't wake her up and you talk to us and you stay in a good mood and we're all okay, then you get a special treat. What do you want? You know, give him the option, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Want ice cream? Okay, cool. Stopped at DQ, got him which I mean, we don't. I can't remember the last time I went to Dairy Queen. They have a kid cup for $1. I'm like, what the
Really?
fuck? I'm like, how are we
Jackpot. I didn't know that.
yeah, like, yeah.
East Coast
Bonus
does
level.
too. I
So-
think it's $1.50,
I was like,
but it's worth
so we
it.
got him a cup of ice cream, which is big for. And sprinkles for $1. I'm like,
Right.
holy
Yeah.
shit.
That's great.
I can't remember where I'm going with this.
What?
But it was just the reward system.
Oh,
of
yeah,
like,
yeah,
Of like
Oh, it works.
Like,
Absolutely.
giving him something that not on an everyday basis, but something because he earned it, and like
Right.
you have to follow through with it.
That's how
too,
Yeah.
humans operate,
Yeah.
right? Like,
But so then like so the crackhead comment. That's
Oh, yeah.
So we're drive through Dairy Queen, and we order the twist with sprinkles in a cup, and he's just sitting there, he's like,
Yeah, he's so
So
excited.
we get it, and I give it to Dana, and she's like, "Oh my god, he's like a crackhead."
he's like me when I'm at a liquor store.
Yeah. So we give it to him. He's, all right, we gotta be careful.
So-
let them eat in the back seat, just hang out, and
So what's your kid's favorite, like, okay, when you give them the option, hey, like anything you want for dinner, like we do that quite often. Like,
So
we had a great day. Like, what's your favorite thing to go do?
So
Because my kids are weird.
So we're doing baby led weaning with Palmer, and we learned Bennett's a picky eater now. I mean, it's like pulling teeth to figure out what he wants to eat. Like he can smash a whole box of mac and cheese one day, and then the next day
Want nothing
like,
to do with it.
nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And like, it'll be like the next week, can I have mac and cheese, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's normal.
And it's like, all right, your favorite food is X. Why don't you want X all the time, right?
Yeah.
Fill in the blank. Because it varies day to day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want French fries, or like all the normal like kid shit, right? Like I want tater tots. I want he calls noodles tunus. This is like, a kid thing. Like
Yeah.
when he was 18 months old, like
Tunus. Yeah. I like it.
So we just say tunos too. Like
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I know you guys all have like your own.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely, man.
100%.
Yeah.
Some things I don't want to even correct when he
Yeah,
says it. Like they
exactly.
say it completely wrong, and it's like I'm holding
yeah.
on to this. I love it.
Dude, Sloan.
Absolutely, you get tunas. Yeah.
Sloan
Yeah.
cannot get, I guess it's the grammatic. Let's see, how would I even explain this? I don't know. Basically, she can't use pronouns correctly. So, and I just don't want to correct it. But
Yeah,
she'll be
it's
always
adorable.
like, her is so beautiful or something like that. And like, I just don't want to correct it.
I know,
it's
'cause
so
it's-
cute.
I love
Like,
it.
No, it's she, it's like, her is so beautiful. Like she does it with like her dolls. Like, look how beautiful her looks. I'm like, it's so damn
Yeah,
cute.
I love it.
I don't want to correct
It'll
it.
it'll be fine. She'll figure
Yeah.
that out. So you hold on to it.
He likes fruit though. Like
So he likes fruit.
anything.
But like, all right, so you guys went to Chick-fil-A, like chicken nuggets, French fries. Is that like his go-to?
no,
No, he
No,
doesn't
he-
really have a go-to.
no, it's like it just.
What about you?
depends.
Because I know your
Sam,
kids
Sam
like
is
Chick-fil-A.
so Sam is. I'm like, what do you want to get? Chicken barbecue and French fries, because he likes barbecue sauce. That's what and a fruit cup because he loves fruit. They're so good about vegetables and fruit.
He would eat a banana every day.
Oh,
if he
yeah.
wanted
Yeah,
to.
they love having fruit.
Fruits.
Every
We
day
do
is.
banana
Fruit's
sushi.
king.
We call it banana sushi.
Oh.
So like
Well, it's like a roll.
so yeah.
Yeah.
We do. That got started when we did a lot of takeout sushi, right? We would come to Young's and
Yeah.
just get rolls, go home, and then like he loves again, like on a weekly, bi-weekly basis, I'll eat rice, right? Okay, cool. You want rice again? No. No. Okay. What else do you want to eat? But so a roll, right? Banana sushi is banana. I'll take a banana, tortilla, peanut butter.
Ooh, yeah.
Put the banana, roll it up, slice it like sushi. Right?
That's a great idea.
great.
Pounds it. Right?
Dude, you ever go to Pulp?
I have.
So
Probably
they
not in
make
2 years though.
Oh really? So they make a wrap. It's the
PB&G.
PB&G wrap. So it's banana, peanut butter, and granola
Oh,
in a wrap.
little texture crunch.
So freaking good.
Delicious.
It's so delicious.
Over at Young's, you guys ever have the Himalayan rabbit?
I want to
What?
now, but yeah.
They found a Himalayan on the road. Dad jokes.
Are you guys
Segueing into dad jokes.
Wait, hold
So
on. I
that
wanna
dad
tell you
joke,
something.
that dad joke I heard today at work, and I thought it was
That's pretty good.
amazing.
Nice. It might be in this book.
So let's go into the dad jokes, but I just have to say, all of a sudden, Gibbs's favorite, like, if I ask him what he wants to eat, like, you get to choose. He wants Jersey Mike's, and I thought you would appreciate that. You're a
Ooh.
sandwich guy,
Sandwiches.
and he just loves
I love it, man.
man.
turkey and cheese sandwich.
I like
I'm
Jersey
like, dude, I can make this at
I've
home.
wanted Jersey
It's
Mike's
not the same.
all week since
I
we
know,
were
we were
trying to
gonna
order
order
on
it.
Sunday night, and we were all dead set on a sub.
Dude, so Sunday during Business Mastery, we were like locked in like all day, right? And it gets to like 8 o'clock.
It was eight. Yeah, it was
We're
like
dude, we
8:15.
have to eat something because there's no real breaks, right? Like they might give you 15, 20 minutes to eat, but like they keep saying like, hey, we're going to break for dinner soon. And it's like 2 hours later. And like, all right, take 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, cool.
So it's Sunday night, 8 o'clock, and we're like pulling up on the phone because we don't have time to go anywhere, and everything is just closed. What do we do?
We we kept checking every place that we checked. We're like, we go through the whole menu.
Yeah, and everyone's putting in their order.
We pass the phone around, we get our order, and we go to check out, and it's like closed. Can't. It happened like 5 times.
Yeah.
Realize that everything's closed.
So we were eating like trail mix. And
we ate.
Oh, we had
the leftover pizza.
Yeah.
So
Kids doesn't like pizza. Ben doesn't like pizza.
What?
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy,
Dude.
And
sorry, continue.
He's just a freak about food. Like it amazes me.
So
and of like how he can love something. So we used to we eat salad, right? We love vegetables. I eat pretty healthy, anyways. And I had arugula salad one day. Like I just made myself of arugula, olive oil, lemon, and some salt. Right? Just mix it all up and just having that. And he's like, "What you got?" And like we always get, always try to ask him, "Do you want some of this? Do you want to try this? Want to bite?" And he does, at certain points. And he tried the arugula. I'm like, "Okay, do you want more?" "Yeah." And I'm like, "You can have as much as you want." He ate me a whole bowl of arugula salad. I'm like, "Fuck it." Like,
yeah,
eat it.
absolutely.
Eat it. 3 days later, do the same thing. I'm eating my arugula.
No chance.
Like, "You want some of this, buddy?" "No, I'm good."
That's disgusting.
Dude, like,
Your kids ever? Do they ever say that?
Nah.
yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
just-
like,
just the face.
I hate when they won't try something. Makes me crazy. And then, like,
Yeah,
I
it's
finally
like, dude,
get him to
just
try
try
it,
it.
and then he tries. He goes, "Oh, this is my favorite." I'm like, "You little asshole! I've been trying to get you to eat this for the last 45 minutes."
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
So, another like funny part of that too is like, all right, he likes chicken nuggets, but he won't like eat them every single day. But we buy dinosaur chicken nuggets.
Oh, yeah.
So he loves them. And he loves Rorars. He calls them Rorars, and he likes biting the fucking head off a Rorar.
He's out on the deck.
He definitely has done that multiple times.
That's amazing.
That's so good.
And so he can tell, like, if you, so we've gotten like the organic Purdue ones that are really good, by the way. Like I snack on them. He doesn't eat them. And then like,
So good. I'm always happy when they don't eat all their food, especially when it's the nuggets.
I've eaten so many tater tots over the last couple
Oh,
months.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
But then you buy like the dinosaur nuggets that have cauliflower in them.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask if you guys ever tried those.
And like you can make them at the same time, intermix them, and you have
And they
one
know.
T-Rex and one T-Rex, and he'll try the cauliflower or broccoli one, or whatever it is, and he'll spit it out, and he'll grab the other one and be like, "This is what I want." And so
Yeah.
they look exactly the same.
It's so difficult.
And
So there's one out there, and I can't remember who it's made by. I think you get it at Trader Joe's. That is chicken mixed in with some veggies,
yeah,
and
I mean, there's multiple options.
Yeah,
like that, but
yeah.
I mean, I get.
and so my kids don't like them, of course.
Well, yeah.
But they're so
good.
freaking good. Like we pop them in the air fryer, dude. They're incredible.
Love the air fryer. So
Have
good.
you ever seen the Aldi like broccoli bites?
The
And
broccoli
Yeah, we
bites,
have a bunch of them.
yeah.
Those are so delicious.
They're so
dude.
delicious.
They're all vegetables.
Yeah.
like with
Yeah.
like some not it's not regular flour, but they use like cassava flour.
Yeah,
and shit,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It's like as the binder.
Yeah.
It's like those are, dude. How do you not like these, man?
They're so good. And like I remember I was always weird about that kind of shit, but like Chelsea's vegetarian, so like over the years, and I won't admit it to her because I still like to
Yeah, I get it.
make sure that I have some options. but like she gets a lot of stuff that's like I'll be at home, like, you know, I work from home and she's at work, and there'll be times for lunch and I was like, all right, what do we have here? And I'll go in the freezer. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
some broccoli.
Some of those are
bites or
actually really good.
whatever. And
Actually,
I'll pop them in the air fryer and I'm like, and like inevitably,
He's Jones.
Oh, man, that's what I
inevitably
see.
that night,
them off, man.
inevitably that night she'll be like, oh, this is what I'm gonna make for dinner. I'm like, yeah, I don't know where those went.
yeah.
Hey, Gibbs, did you throw those out?
Yeah, kids hated them. They tossed them. I swear. I mean, a great example of the food that Chelsea gets. Like, my brother was going to Melt tonight. He was taking his oldest daughter.
I haven't been to Milton in years.
He's like, I can't wait to get this sandwich. He goes, shit, it's Friday.
oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh. Well, he's like, oh, I'll just get something, like some fish or something. I'm like, you know what's actually really good is the tofu chicken wings.
Oh, they
and I'm like,
are.
the tofu
Dude.
wings. They're like chicken wings, but they're like, And I tried them because Chelsea got them the one night we were there. And I'm like, I'll give it a try. It was actually phenomenal.
They're like triple fried, so they're super crunchy.
Well, same with Barrio. You ever have the tofu over there? There was. I went there with you one time. We got it was during Lent, and we're like, all right, we'll get shrimp.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try a tofu one just to see what it's like.
Yeah.
It's so fried.
Chelsea
I thought it was like
yeah.
chicken. I mean, you would just think you were eating chicken. It was so freaking good.
These, at Heinen's, it's like a General So tofu, and she gets it in this like container or whatever, and she'll just have a little bit at a time or whatever. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I have to admit, sometimes they're pretty.
Now, when
damn
she
good.
buys like the tofu and like to cook it herself, I can't do it. Just it's like slimy and weird.
Yeah,
but,
some of it's like.
But when it's pre-made and it's like fried, like I'm all in.
Fried anything's phenomenal. I don't care, man. It's so freaking good.
All right, what do you got?
Go
What do
ahead,
you got?
buddy.
All right, guys.
This one.
What did the sea say to the beach? Nothing.
Hold on. Give me 10
What did the
seconds.
sea say to the beach? Shh.
It's pretty good, but it's not the right answer. The correct answer is nothing. It just waved. This book is gold right here, man.
Dude, dad jokes are so good.
So I got these books because, again, we were trying to schedule something over the holidays, and I was like, I'm going to bring a Christmas gift. And so they have been sitting in my house for months now.
Thank you very much.
And I thought it'd be a good kick for you guys to do,
I love this to be a segment here.
Yeah.
A segment or, just one of your quickies or something like that.
There was a time, I don't know if you remember this, Gibbs was like probably throughout his 3-year-old life, where at the daycare we would do some marketing stuff, and it was always Fridays. It was Gibbs Got Jokes. And we actually ended it because I started getting so frustrated that he was getting so silly about it that he would like make up his own ending to the joke. Like we would rehearse.
No, this isn't right.
Dude, no, like
We're not
no
doing
joke. I remember one time so it was at like the end of the day, I would be picking them up, and Sloan's in like the infant room, and me and him, like the rest of his class is like outside playing. And I'm like, all right, we're going inside to film this video.
Started at
And
8. Meanwhile, it's like 1 o'clock. You're still working on it.
It would be like an hour into it, and I'd be like, damn it, from the top. Like, you need to do this right. And like, finally I was like, dude, I need to chill. So we stopped doing it.
Well, the thing is, I told you, like we talked about this
Yeah.
months ago,
Yeah.
maybe even longer, but I'm like, dude, you should just let it go, because it would have been so much better had it just been like what he wanted, like
Yeah.
the way he wanted to say it.
I don't know.
It actually would have been
They're
pretty
bad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably some
But
gold
I bet
in it.
you there was probably, I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be really funny.
Yeah. So I might have.
You might have to have him
some
read out of
jokes.
this. Like,
Yeah.
what does a house wear to a nice party?
To a nice party?
To a nice party.
Silk flowered shirt and a vest.
That's what I would guess. What would a woman wear?
There's always a pun. There's always something like...
What would a house wear to is that what it is?
Yeah, just think of a woman. What would a
Dress.
An address.
A dress.
A dress.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
See,
gotcha,
guys?
gotcha.
You got
That's
it.
good. Where's the hi-hat? We have it, don't we?
Sure do. Man,
That's
great.
fantastic.
I
Thank
love
you
this.
so
Thank
much.
you, man.
You're welcome.
I always thought about, like, there's a guy, an older guy I work with that just always has dad jokes, and they're so awful. They're just so terrible. And I told him one day, I go, listen, I need you to start writing these down for me, because I want to use them on the podcast. Like,
yeah.
have just like a segment of just terrible dad jokes.
Does he make them up, or does he like recite them somehow?
He
Just a wealth
has
of
something.
knowledge.
There's a difference, right?
Yeah.
Like,
No, he has
Grading
like
them,
he
then-
has so many. Like, I can't even have a conversation with the guy.
So, but he's doing it as like he does the setup and he does like the punchline.
He does.
Versus like, you can make a dad joke just when there's a situation, but like, I
No,
can't
but
think
he
of
does
anything
it
off my
like
head.
we'll be out to lunch or something.
I'm
and he'll just-
hungry. Oh, I'm dead. How are you, man?
I'm hungry. I'm dead.
Hey, hungry. I'm dead.
but I mean, like, there's some of them are just so. I mean, he'll start telling me a story, and I'm like, oh, sounds really interesting. And then halfway through, I'm like, motherfucker. I'm like, I know exactly what he's doing. I'm like, here we go. Just get on with it, please. Can we have a real conversation for once? So now I have this.
There's something about dad joke or dad humor that's just so fantastic.
It's great.
So
Is
good.
this loud, by the way? I keep like spinning my.
No, you can do whatever you want,
That's
man.
what I do.
You should do what you do.
And you are doing what you do, and we
This
appreciate
is
it.
fantastic, by the way. Thank you for bringing.
Yeah,
the
thank you. This is
Russells.
good stuff right here.
I'm a huge fan of everything that Wild Turkey makes, other than Wild Turkey.
Right? It's so good.
So weird.
It's so
Like,
good though.
They make so many good brands, and not that Wild Turkey's bad by any means, but the Russells is one of my favorite, especially the 10-year-old one.
So good.
So good.
Thank you.
It's got a good.
Thanks for the
finish
dad
to it.
jokes, too.
You're welcome. It's This is like I told you before. This is the first time I've had it, so it's good.
What do you think?
Clean finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is good.
It's, it's not.
It's not.
It's not an ass
overpowering.
kicker.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
it's very smooth. It's
Yeah.
I want to say light, maybe.
Larceny last time, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still got it.
Still got it, man.
Did your,
This is how he remembers episodes. Like what number was it? Like I don't know, but you're definitely drinking larceny that night.
Episode, but I know what we drank.
Yeah. It's 6
I
glasses.
brought that specifically because of drinking that with my father-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that now.
And that's like a go-to, easy. Which I told you earlier, I want to try that fistful that you guys
Yeah,
mentioned.
you
It's
should.
really good, man, and it's so cheap,
Yeah, it's
and it's quality too, man. For what it is, you look at it on the shelf and you're like, this looks like a cheap ass bottle. It's like that
got
little
a
cursive.
hand-drawn,
Yeah,
like
it's like a little kid made the label.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Excuse
good.
me.
Larceny Barrel Proof Edition just won the Bourbon of the Year for Whiskey Advocate, which
Nice.
is a pretty big rating system.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I want to get into something real quick
okay,
because I've been thinking about it a lot today,
get
Go
into
for
it.
and I want you to tell your story too because
Drop it.
a proud dad moment.
Mm.
Okay, I'm gonna go real quick because
Are you trying to wrap up now? Like we're
I know your wife wants you home because you have the power outage at your house, and she said don't be here too late.
It's back up.
Time is it?
Oh, it's back up.
She
We're
did
good.
say it's
That's good news.
Oh,
All
yeah,
right,
we're
cool.
good.
We can keep going. But I did want to say, like, so I always
I
say
got
about,
plenty of dead hacks, by the way, too. Like
Good.
I'm thinking a lot of.
and we have a lot of
this,
buttons to push here. So
Second kid.
That's what she said.
like. Thinking,
this is
again, the reflection time of like, all right, this is number 2. What did I experience with number 1? And like, oh, I remember doing this, and like, holy shit, like this is something.
yeah, you bring it back.
That's a
It's
minor.
kind of the stuff
It
that like
messes with you.
it's the stuff that you kind of forget about, and you bring it back. And you're like, oh shit, it's actually a dad hack. I didn't even think about it.
All right, what are you
I
proud
took
about?
notes and
Oh yeah.
everything, too.
So Sam, I always talk about how he's really quiet and everything.
Yeah.
So we were at the business mastery thing the other night,
Yeah.
and Liz was working. So my dad was watching the boys, and he's like, yeah, I took the boys to the park, and he took Teddy too, and he's like, and there's these little boys playing, and Sam ran right up to them, and he was like, he introduced himself, he's like, I'm 5 years old, and my name's Sam, and the kids introduced themselves to him, and he's like, you guys want to play tag? And then another boy came over and he was just playing by himself, and Sam went and grabbed him and introduced himself and brought him in. He's like, you want to come play with us? And he's like,
Dude,
my dad's like, he ran around and played for like an hour and a half, and he had the greatest time. And I'm like,
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
and like I always talk about, like, Sam is a really quiet kid. And I always tell him, I'm like, go meet some friends, go have some fun, and he's doing it. And I love seeing it now. It's like,
In
man,
action,
that's
right?
awesome.
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
And to hear that story, cause like, he's like, yeah, so he's telling me the story, and I'm like, he keeps telling me like, yeah, these are the other boys there. So instantly in my head I start thinking like, oh, great, these kids were little assholes or something. And he's like, but Sam went and talked to him, and then he asked me if he wanted to play. And then he kept telling me the story, but I kept thinking of something negative was going to happen. Like, just naturally, that's what I was thinking. But it was great. It was
That's good.
so I was really proud of
There's
him.
a book that we read to Bennett, 5 Little Dinosaurs,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of goes through that. Like there's one dinosaur by himself, and then another dinosaur comes and plays with them, and then there's the third one, they bring him into the mix, and then the fourth one they bring in the mix, and then the fifth one they bring in the mix, so they're all playing together, like one off, and like one's hiding behind a tree, like not knowing what to do, and like so it's part of that too.
Yeah.
You were
Like,
just asking for a book
teaching-
recommendation.
teaching
There we go.
I mean, how old is Sam? He's 5.
He's 5.
So
Yeah,
probably
he's
above.
he's doing like, it's good for Ben though.
Yeah.
The thing with Ben is like when he started going to Little Scholars, like Sam was in Little Scholars from the time he was a few months old.
Probably like 10 weeks,
Yeah.
12 weeks.
And he was, it was steady, just going through it. So Ben, we started him, well, obviously, like the first 2 months he was in the hospital, and then we kept him home for as long as we could, and then we finally sent him off to daycare. And then he was getting sick, so we had to pull him out. He would go back, and he would get really sick again and end up in the emergency room. We had to pull him out. And then he started going again. We started sending him to a new school. He's doing speech therapy. And he starts, and he's doing really well. But Willoughby Eastlake schools in September close. They just shut down. So again, not consistent being in school. So then you go all the way till December. He was out of school, and then, finally in January he goes back. So it's like his whole life has been so inconsistent with school, and it sucks. So it's
segmented.
so he's not around a ton of kids all the time. He's an outgoing kid, but much more than Sam was. And like the only thing he really knew was being around his brother. But I mean, he's doing phenomenal at school. Like he's doing great now that he's back into the whole swing of things. But it's like a book like that could be really good for him because he's not used to being around a bunch of other kids. Like we'll get to the park sometimes, and he's like kind of put off when he sees other kids playing there. He's like, "Oh, this is my playground. I want to be by, I want the whole thing to myself and my brother, So that could be something really good for him. That type of book. Because I was asking Ian the other day, I'm like, I need a new book for the kids because my mom was going to buy them some for Easter. So I'll look for that one.
What was my recommendation?
The monster, the Finding Your Monster.
Yeah. You guys have the Finding My Monster, How I Met My Monster.
No.
It's a pretty cool book. It's, it's about bedtime routines and, the whole idea of a monster under your bed, but owning it. Like,
I like it.
And so it's about these monsters that basically interview the kid to be their monster.
Yeah,
and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And
Yeah, my mom bought, I think, 2 of those.
Okay, good.
For that for the Easter.
They're really good. My kids love them. I mean, both of my kids love them. So
Good.
yeah.
For bedtime, we're struggling with Bennett though. Like we built a bad habit. He's always been a great sleeper up until Palmer was born. So, like I mentioned, like waking up early before, but like some people just don't need a lot of sleep, right? Like that,
Yeah,
it's okay. But for being an almost 3-year-old, and going to bed at 9:30 sometimes because he refuses to go to sleep, and then waking up at 5:30, you're just a fucking mess the whole day.
Yeah.
Like on a Saturday, it's awful. But like when we moved to the new house, we still had him in a crib, and we were able to just like put him to sleep, right?
Yeah.
Put him in the crib, and he would fall asleep like normal, and it was awesome. And what we wanted to do before Palmer came was transition him to a big boy bed.
Right.
So we bought him a twin. We got him going, and so his crib would then become Palmer's crib.
Right.
And we did it for like a month, the month of August basically, and it was the same routine, right? Okay, it's bedtime, putting you to bed, and he fell asleep in his bed, no issues. And then when Palmer came, and it was very shortly after that when she was, home in our bedroom with us,
Right.
he would open up his door and like come downstairs and saying, "Where's Palmer? What's going on? Can I see her?
Right.
Can I hold her?" And so then we got in the routine of we got to put him to sleep. So we're going to sit with him and we're going to be with him.
Yeah.
And then I got to, we're going to be in bed and we fall asleep with him. And like, it's been 6 months of like torture.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because
man.
we can't break the cycle. And now like on weekends, he like doesn't want to nap. I'm going on this another tangent here.
No,
It's
that's
like-
what you're dealing with.
It's like it's tough because of like we thought we were gold. It was awesome, and he was, doing things the right way, and then we make this whole another change happen, right? And he reacted to that, and then our reaction probably built the bad habit. Now we can't break the bad habit.
So I think that we have to remember that as big of a change as it is for us bringing a new baby home, it's just as big of a change, if not more of a change for him, right? Like all of a sudden his time went from 100% attention to probably 25.
Yeah.
Right? Because like you just have
It's
to
tough.
do a lot
I
with
mean,
a newborn,
yeah,
right?
they need
And
a lot of
even if you're
attention.
consciously
And we tried to
spending
bring.
time.
We brought the blanket home and had him sniff it.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
It just didn't work out how we thought it would.
Hall and Oates over there like, dude, they're supposed to do that for me,
Yeah.
not you. But no, like I think when it comes to bedtime routines, because we kind of experienced something similar to like both my kids have. Well, Gibbs was kind of rough as a baby, but very quickly got it. Sloan was awesome as a newborn. When we moved to the apartment, Gibbs was fine, easy transition.
Good.
Sloan has just been a nightmare. And I think part of it is that she's 3, and again, I think she's 100% my daughter because she's just like me. She doesn't want to go to bed, and she'll wake up and she'll be fine. The difference is like during the week she'll take a nap, at school, and then she's just awake, man. Like to try and put her to bed before 9:30 is just you're fighting.
It's tough, man.
You're fighting. I mean, there's days where she'll be up till 10:30, 11 o'clock, and she'll be playing nice and quiet in her room. Like she'll be playing with her baby, or she'll be.
But in the back of your mind, she's awake, so it's like it's uncomfortable.
Awake, so I can't like relax, which is fine.
So we've been trying out.
But then she's up at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's still.
Yeah,
it doesn't
still,
matter.
still up. It doesn't matter.
And like on the weekends, she won't take a nap, and she'll do the same thing.
So we're in the same boat. Like
and I try to get. I don't want her to take a nap because I'm in my head. I'm like, all right, so she'll be tired and she'll go to bed. She doesn't. Like she just doesn't. I don't know if that's a genetic thing with like
she's an
needing
extrovert.
Sleep. She's
an extrovert
for sure.
that her energy feeds off of being around other people.
Right. She loves to. I mean, she does this thing where she'll like creep over. Like so, I'll put her to bed. Like I love putting Sloan to bed because that's just my time with her. And Gibbs really likes Chelsea putting him to bed, so we like that's pretty much what we do.
Yeah.
Except for the 9 days straight that I haven't been home.
That's a whole other thing.
But no, but Sloan will do this thing where she'll get out of her bed and she'll like, I can clearly hear her door open, and then she'll like walk, and she'll go over and she'll just like peek her head around the corner into our doorway, and she'll just give us this smile. Like, I'm not ready for bed.
Like, oh, damn it.
What are you doing over there, Dad?
I'm like, Sloan, do you want to go read another book? And she'll be like, I want you to play. So we'll go into her room and like same thing, bad habit.
I'm good for
like,
that. Thank you. I still have some.
Like doing a bad habit, was like I would like, all right, well, you're clearly not tired, so I'm not going to be mad at you about that. Yeah. I'm going to play with you. But now she knows that I'll play with her.
Yeah. They learn the game real quick.
Fuck, did I mess that up? And so now like recently I've been like, nope, it's not playtime. It's nighttime. So we're going to shut the lights off. I'll sit with you for a minute and I'll rub your back, but that's it. And then unfortunately, sometimes I'm so freaking tired that like, I like snuggle up with her and then I fall asleep.
I fall asleep. There's so many nights that I fall asleep at 8 o'clock, wake up at 9:30. I'm like,
Yep.
Yeah. And then you're up for another 2.5 hours. Yeah. Like, damn it.
But so a dad hack here is, so what's been working as well is we put a lamp in his room, and I bought a Bluetooth, like a wireless plug. So I have the ability to turn on his nightlight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Of, hey, this is the reading light, and we have 15 minutes. And so so he has his hatch to say it's bedtime. All right, 7:30, your orange light's on. Hey, go. Is your orange light on? Go check. Right, goes upstairs. Orange light's on. Time to go to bed. All right, go. That's the start of your routine.
I'm not familiar with the hatch thing. I mean, you've kind of explained it.
So so Hatch is the brand. It's just like the nightlight sound machine system that you can program different sequences and like different things, right? So so like our bedtime routine is 7:30, orange light comes on, and then it turns off. I think I have it for 10:30, and then it wakes up at 6:45, green light, right?
Oh man,
green light comes on, then you can come.
You're
out.
allowed to get out of your room.
And so like
I love that.
We have another one for Palmer, like it's her like sound machine and stuff like that. So then we can program it at the same time. But so then I have all right, your orange light is bedtime. That means okay, we got to be in your bedroom, right? And then the corner reading light is it's time to read and do our puzzles. And then when that light goes off, we need to be in bed.
Okay.
So like
Yeah,
so whenever
that's smart.
we're actually in the room and like settled and doing our shit, then I set a timer. It's set to go off at 8 o'clock like every single night anyways,
Yeah.
but then I can change it and set a timer to it to say, okay, it's already 7:50. We finally got up here. 10 minutes, I know it's not going to be enough. So then I put it for 30 minutes and knowing that 8:20 is going to be around. And okay, we're always in agreement. All right, hey, here's the deal. Set the expectation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you have 15 minutes.
Yep.
Right. And when that light goes off, that means we have to. I will go into bed with you. Right.
Mm-hmm. But it's time to go.
It's time to go to bed after that. Right. So then you are laying in your bed, and is that a deal? Yes. You promise. I promise. You pinky swear.
Yeah.
I pinky swear.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
you reinforce. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I'm big in the sayings now. Like, all right, your word is your bond, right?
Yeah.
And like I reinforce it every
Yep.
day. What you say is what you do, right? And if you pinky swear, and that's what that means. That you're going to say what you're going to do. We're going to go in bed, and then like 90,
We do the pinky promise all the time.
90% of the time it works. But you
Yeah,
gotta fight.
sure.
But that it has helped a lot of having that additional like layer of, hey, I'm not saying you need to go to bed, but like this is our routine now, and like you have to build a structure, and then at the same time, like you have those tools.
Yeah.
Right?
I think I want to check that out.
Yeah.
Because so first of all, that's like multiple dad hacks. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of want to check that out because that's a great idea. Can you change the light on it like in the moment? Like, can you change, like if you,
The hatch, you can change colors.
yeah,
Like, I
so
can
so
go on
if you're
my
sitting there,
app
like
and,
if
I
you're
can do
sitting
it
there
right
for
now.
like, okay, you have a half hour where you're like, okay, well, 10 minutes has gone by and just turn the green light on and be like, all right, buddy,
can't, yeah.
it's been a half hour.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, okay, well,
Yeah.
you get them trained enough to where these lights mean something to them. And it's like, okay, well,
So what has happened, funny, like, and sometimes when, okay, Friday night, we try to have movie night. I'm like, all right, we'll have some Pirates booty and like hang out. Like,
Pirates Booty is phenomenal.
You've had a great week. You've had a great night. Like we're gonna watch Jurassic Park. We're gonna hang out, right?
Is it always Jurassic Park?
It's one of the 5. One of the main 3, basically. And so then some Saturdays, luckily, like if he goes to bed late or like something happens, I mean, it happens once a month, maybe, he'll sleep through his green light, right? So then he'll wake up. It's funny because then we have the Nest and you can watch him. And that's
Mhm.
cool
Yeah,
and
yeah.
shit. So like he'll wake up and then he'll turn on his actual light and he'll start doing puzzles. So we've trained him to, okay, you can't come out of your room until the green light comes on.
Okay, so he's staying in there.
Again, it doesn't happen every time, but when it does happen, it's like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like now we have
Yeah.
a cup of coffee.
Yeah,
and actually
right.
talk and then feed Palmer and like whatever it is.
Wow.
But then, like there's days, again, maybe once a quarter I've ever
Right.
done this. So maybe I've done it 5 times so far. I have to go on my app and say, turn the green light on. And then he'll see the green light,
Right.
and then he'll open his door. He's like, "Oh, green light's on. Can I get a bar, like a special bar?" Like he loves Jamie Sammy. He's like, "Oh, give me Jamie Sammy." So like, because we have the little balcony, right? So he'll just peek his head around like downstairs, and like, the green light's on. Like, yeah, come on down, man. Like you did an awesome job. You slept through the green light. This is perfect. But meanwhile, he actually slept through the original green light.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
You just turn it. Yeah.
And then but then the next
That's
day,
cool.
That's a
good
great idea because I love that because we talked about this several times where I just want to have my cup of coffee.
It's hard. Yeah,
And I don't ever get to have it. Like it sits down there and I'm like, it sits on the counter for a while. Then I'm like, I gotta go warm this up. If I could just get a few moments with that light, just
Yeah, right.
they were sitting there waiting for it to turn green.
So we're trying to
So-
to coach him into like, okay, you definitely cannot leave your room until the green light comes on, no
Yeah.
matter what. And it's some days, again, most of the days it doesn't work, but like we're getting to that point finally.
Yeah.
Of like,
Yeah. So I am a super positive person, but I'm going to ask a question that's going to sound negative just because I'm interested.
ask away.
I love the warning.
How has potty training affected that system?
Oh, because you're talking about like if you can't leave the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't, we tell him like, if you have to go
Potty-
potty, you tell us.
He
like,
understands
and
that,
he
like, you
yeah.
got to go,
Yeah.
you got to go.
Yeah. So case in point, I think twice this past week, once he woke up at 5:30, they had a poop, and we successfully did it. Great. But then we dealt with the consequences of he's being up. And then like
Right.
2 days later, he's 6'10". I gotta go pee pee. Great. Thank you so much for telling us. Like, awesome. Like you stayed dry because you made that decision.
Yeah.
And you're listening to your body, and now you get a marshmallow and M&M because you told us. That's his
So,
reward. So we
like,
can
I love it.
Sloan, I don't know if she's just devious or what, but like, it'll be like midnight, and like we know that she's still awake. But as long as I try not to disrupt her if she's playing quietly in her room, because
Midnight?
well, maybe not midnight, maybe it's like 11 o'clock.
Okay, yeah.
But like it's late.
It's late,
for
yeah.
a 3-year-old,
Yeah,
you know. But like, again, like when she's not ready, like she just won't go to sleep. But like she's tried to use potty as
Like an excuse to come out of the room.
and like, all right, well, I'm gonna sit in here with you while you go potty then.
Yeah.
And she'll sit and she'll just look at me. She's like, I'm like, you don't have to go to, do you? No. I'm like, all right, wash your hands. It's time to go.
Try.
It's time for bed.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I was just wondering. So that's good though, if he understands that like that takes priority over the light.
Yeah.
Because that was like going in through my head. I was like, shit.
That trumps everything.
Yeah.
We stop.
Yeah.
We stop anything. Like you're
Well, which you have
listen
to
your
do.
body,
Right,
recognize.
right.
Yeah,
you have to go
because it goes
and
along with
we're dropping
trying to train
everything
them
we
to
do.
go to the bathroom. Yeah.
Right.
For
But
sure.
but to that point, it has what Sloan does. He plays that game. It's 9 o'clock at night. Oh, I gotta go potty.
Yeah. I'm hungry.
You're fucking kidding me. I know you. You just want.
I'm
I know you
thirsty.
don't.
Yeah.
We had Dixie
So
cups.
many.
You know what I do
Oh, yeah.
when
Dixie
Ben
cups.
tells me
So
he's
then you
thirsty at
fill
night?
up- You fill up a Dixie cup, like a
Yep,
quarter of
yep,
an
yep,
inch. It's like,
yep.
there you go. There's your water.
She gets so mad because we have like
Yeah,
the,
he's like he drink it. They're like, okay, well there was nothing in there, thanks. But
So
I mean,
they-
sometimes it works though.
we have like the thermos cups.
Yeah.
Like with the
Little flip
the
open
top
cap,
and
yeah,
everything
straw.
for their normal drinks throughout the
Oh,
day.
yeah.
Normal stuff throughout the day. But at night when they
just get one of
ask
these.
for right
Yeah,
when they ask for water at night, I'll give it to them in a regular cup and I'll fill it up, just like a tiny bit. And they're like, "No, I want my cup." I'm like, "Nope, you're not going to sit here and chug a whole thing of water before bed, because I know what the results of that are."
so this might be a dad hack or it might be just be cruel, but Ben's always when he's getting ready to go to sleep, I get him in his bed, we do our routine, and then as he's getting ready to fall asleep, he goes, "I want milk."
Yeah.
Or he's like, I'm like, "No," I'm like, "You probably don't need any because I don't want you, peeing your bed. Get the chocolate milk." I miss that. And or he'll be like, "Oh, I need water." I'm like, "Okay, well, why don't you just close your eyes?" And I'm like, "In a few minutes, I'll come back in here with your drink." I'm like, "Just relax for a little bit. I'll be back." And it's like an empty promise, really. But but every time I'll go back 5 minutes later, he's passed out.
Yeah.
He hasn't caught you yet.
There's been some times he'll like walk out in the family room, like I'll just think he's falling asleep, and he'll walk out and be like, "Hey,"
Where's the chocolate?
he's like, "Water." I'm like, "Okay, fine." And then all of a sudden I'm back with like a little like this much in there.
Yeah, that's what you said. Oh, buddy, I forgot. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
exactly. I try to cover it up like, "Oh yeah, I was getting to it. I was cleaning. I'm clearly just sitting on the couch with my feet up watching TV." but he's great though. Like he'll as soon as he's done, he'll walk it out. He'll be like, "Okay, I'm done." He'll hand me the cup and he'll just go right back to bed and he'll just pass out.
That's good.
Ben's phenomenal with bed. I mean, he'll stay up later than Sam, but he will just go to bed on his own.
It's so funny how different my kids are, because Gibbs needs his sleep. Like, dude, I could put Gibbs to bed at 7 o'clock and he will pass out and not wake up until 6, 7
amazing.
o'clock the
It's
next
amazing.
day.
It's
To whereas Sloan Sloan's me.
it's
And
So
Gibbs
that's
is
all.
Chelsea.
So Bennett was like that before. Like he would wake up early because we would put him to bed early to test that out. Like we would just put him in his crib and he would fall asleep. Like he would play a lot in his crib by himself
Yeah.
until he was satisfied, and then fall asleep, and then sleep till sometimes we had to wake him up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's like the complete opposite. It's just
they
it's
just
like a flip of
let's
the
go through those
switch,
changes. Like
Every single morning, Sloan's the first one up, and she'll come in and again, maybe a bad habit, but like we let her come in and snuggle. Like that's a lot of times
That's
what
it.
my reward is. For
Sam still
her.
comes.
It's
Sam
like,
will come into our
listen,
room in the morning and just lay in our bed. I'm like, fine,
Yeah.
just lay in here, but don't bother me. I'm gonna sleep for another hour at least. I'm exhausted.
And normally it's been different since we got the pup, but like normally she'll be in there and it's like a half hour before it's time to get up anyway. So
Yeah.
like we'll let her hang out, and she'll just snuggle up with me, and it's nice. you
Yeah,
know?
I mean, I don't mind it at all. Like
Whereas Gibbs, like I have to like turn on the light, I have to physically get him out of bed, and he's like sleeping, and I'm like, all right, stand up. It's time to get dressed.
Yeah. Wake up. Dump a
Going
bucket of
with the
water on his
trash
head.
can.
Yeah.
Drop your cocks and grab your socks.
It's go time. Yeah, Sam's usually the first one up, and then I'll be like, just be quiet. Wait till I'm like, do not wake up your brother. Like he'll go in his room, be like, I'm gonna go check on Ben. I'm like, do not go in there. Do not wake up your brother. I'm like, I'm not ready for this right now. I'm like, I need some more time.
Can't deal with two.
Then all of a sudden they communicate with each other. They like yell back from each other. Like Ben will be like, "Caw." Like he'll make like a noise, and Sam will be like, he'll make like a noise back. They don't talk to each other. They just like make noises back and forth to be like, I'm awake, and Sam's like, okay, and then they both jump up and they're running and they're playing. I'm like, oh god, you little bastards. But
So yeah, Bennett and Palmer, they have a Jack and Jill bathroom.
Yeah.
And Bennett would like break into the bathrooms.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Like, go through.
yeah,
like,
go see her.
And then all of a sudden you see that on the nest, Bennett's like creeping up on the crib.
I love that.
And checking her out. Like
So cute though,
yeah,
man.
it's really cute, and that's like a proud demo too. Like all the love and the care that he has for her is amazing. He's never had any ill will. He's never had shown any animosity to his sister, and it's like it's just awesome to see. Because I mean, I'm sure you've all heard stories of, you know, the second kid comes in and the first kid just hates it, right?
Yeah.
Or like something bad happens.
Yeah.
Not like bad, but like
Right.
You know, there's
Yeah, but
the
they're
potential.
but,
Yeah, right,
Because
right,
I mean,
right.
they're jealous, or they're not getting the
Or they're
attention
just
that they
exploring the new thing that's there that's
Yeah.
taking up all their parents'
Yeah,
time.
like why are you guys not paying attention to me? That's the problem.
so like he'll pet her like a dog, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Palmer. So it's really cute. You know, and you know, we allowed him to hold her very early on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, when she was, you know, a week or two old, like, hey, this is okay. This is a big deal, dude. Like, she's very fragile, which means she can, you know, if you do something incorrectly,
You could really hurt her.
that you can hurt her. Like, do you want to hurt your sister? Oh, no, absolutely not. Okay, then you just got to hold her tight. And just when we say you need to give her back to us, then you just give her back to us. Is that a deal? Deal. Promise? Promise. Pinky swear? Pinky swear.
Mhm.
Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then you let him do it. So
Just wait, bro.
I know.
Well, it's like I'm just thinking like how, like, Sam was so sweet with Ben, and now that they're like kind of the same size,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like battle royale in my house all the time. They're just stepping on each other's heads. I'm like, just body slamming each other off the couch. I'm like, I mean, I love it because I mean, growing up, like
That's
that was
what
me
I
and my
wanted
brothers.
to,
Like,
like,
you know,
that's
that's
what-
what's
it's
fun,
the
man.
best,
It's so much
dude.
fun. But it's funny how crazy Ben gets sometimes. Like Sam will really piss him off, and Ben just like rages out, man. And he'll just go over and grab Sam, and Sam just is down, and Ben's just pounding him on the head. I'm like, Jesus, dude. I'm like, Ben, chill out, man. And he's got this like this rage. I'm like, okay, buddy,
Dude, we were
relax.
This afternoon or this evening, we were watching there's a new Mighty Ducks show.
I saw that today on Disney.
Yeah. So Gibbs, who loves the
There's
Mighty
a show?
Ducks, yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
was it?
show.
Yeah, show.
Yeah,
It's a
Bombay.
show. Yeah, Gordon Bombay's in it.
Oh shit.
So the first episode just came out. I don't know if it was today. Or
Yeah, I think it was
last
today
week,
because I was
whatever.
trying to look
Is
at
it,
the.
is it like a series release, or is it going to be like
Series
a weekly?
release weekly.
Oh, so
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So the whole
So
thing's
not like the
out.
Netflix thing, yeah.
So it's on Disney Plus, and so we were trying to figure out what to watch, and so we had that on, and Gibbs was all excited because he loves the Mighty Ducks movies, and so we're watching. And Sloan was not happy about the choice. She really wanted to watch Raya again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
And so me, Chelsea, and Gibbs are all into this because it's corny, but it's good.
Yeah. Takes your back.
And she's just egging him on. She's like, Gibsy, and he's trying to watch the show, and finally, like, little man just like kicks her right in the face. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm trying to watch the show. I'm like, I know, but you
It's
can't
Gordon
do
Bombay,
that.
Dad.
It's like, yeah, he's like, come on, are you kidding me? Dude. It's actually Emilio Estevez, Dad. Leave me alone.
He is. I don't want to.
Go ahead, just say it.
He's such a dick. It's hilarious.
Emilio?
Gordon is?
Yeah, Gordon Bombay.
So he goes back to his like original character from the first movie.
Kind of, but like, all right. So first of all, why isn't he just a lawyer again? He's not. He's a washed up like.
That's
he-
what
he
always
owns this, like-
cracked me up about the movies.
Wait, didn't they leave it off as like he was
he was a lawyer again? Like,
Did they? I don't remember.
Kind of, because
like,
I thought
because
they- I thought he went
there was
back
a
to
third
prep school,
movie.
I don't remember
Yeah.
D3.
And he was, because they all went to that.
They went to the prep academy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then he
yeah,
ended
yeah.
up showing up to like for their court case, and he was like their
He
lawyer.
was a lawyer. Yeah.
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 Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, so now Gordon Bombay runs like this like
What is he, like,
men's
Hans now?
skate-land looking thing for an ice rink.
So he's like
where-
Hans.
Yeah, but all he does, I mean, literally 3 times in the first episode, he's eating leftover cake from a birthday party. He asks like, "How old is this?" Like he's
What is this?
like,
Is he,
man,
is he
doesn't
complete
look like
drunk
this
all of a
bum-
sudden?
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
I'm thinking, yeah.
But that's what always
He's like,
cracked me
"I
up
hate
about that
hockey."
movie.
He just keeps saying, "I hate hockey."
That's hilarious.
Like, okay.
This is his new
It's
character.
like
right?
the Bad News Bears like remake in a show.
Yeah,
like, for
so
hockey.
basically
Like, that's
the kid, the main, what looks to be the main character in the show gets cut from the Ducks. The Ducks are basically the new
Hawks.
Hawks,
Yeah.
and they're all about
but
winning.
But Gordon's the leader of the.
No, so Gordon is
he's just on his own.
Yeah, so the kid gets cut, and the mom pulls like a Karen move and like screams at the coach, and so decides they're going to start their own team.
Okay.
But they can't find a place in town that will give them ice time. So she finds this like birthday party place, and
That's where Gordon works.
she
Scale
finally
man,
finds
yeah.
like, she's like, "How do I rent ice time?" And she goes up into the office, and the guy's just like eating leftover birthday cake, and he turns around and it's Gordon Bombay.
See what
I'm
always,
into it.
the thing that always cracked me up about the first 2 movies is he goes and he becomes this coach of the worst hockey team in the history of hockey. All right, so they win
As community service,
as community service, and then all of a sudden
because of
they asked him,
DUI, right?
yeah, because of like a DUI, he's the worst. All of a sudden he's like, with Charlie's mom, and then the next movie,
It's a love story.
the majority of his team from the Mighty Ducks that was like the worst team like ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they're on Team USA,
They're in
Right.
Olympics.
and they're
in the
just amazing.
Olympics.
They're
Yeah.
the Junior Goodwill Games,
Oh, you're
and all of a sudden they're the best team in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
And majority of the kids on that team are all from the Ducks. Like,
yeah.
I just thought that was the funniest
it's
thing.
so
Like,
You can
funny.
do anything
The-
you put your mind to. Your heart to.
hey, you're right. It's the
Dude,
American dream.
In this one, the coach of the
American
Ducks,
hockey dream.
the coach of the Ducks is a young, what was his name from the Hawks? I can't
Banks?
remember. Yeah,
Banks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Banks. Banks.
yeah.
Cake
You're
eater.
so good.
Yeah.
Steve's so good with movies. He knows.
Is it Banks? Is it true? Is it really
No,
Banks? Though?
Adam
no,
Banks?
it's not him. But like,
No,
there's-
is it really him though? Maybe it's not
No,
him
it's
as a
no.
character, but it's like him.
I don't.
That'd be
no,
awesome.
He's
if
younger.
It was really him.
He's younger than
Oh, it's
that
okay,
kid
okay.
is now. Like he's
not
like
40, like
he's
a
like a
45.
25-year-old kid with just like luxurious locks. I don't. It's hilarious. It's so
I
funny.
have to watch it.
And he's just like, parents pay me to win, not to have fun. And like all these parents have like nutrition coaches. I mean, this is a 12-year-old league, by the way. And like these parents have their nutrition coaches, and like the one mom brought like a sports psychologist to practice. And, like, it's so funny.
I'm gonna watch it. I have to now.
Is it meant to be funny? Like, is there like comedy to
I
it?
feel like
or
it has to be. If
I think on some level, but it's not like a sitcom.
no? Okay.
It's
There's
more,
no laugh
but
lines,
like
no laugh tracks.
but like they have to know that it's like a corny, like they're trying to be.
kind of like the
trying to
like the
appease-
Cobra Kai type thing.
Yes,
they're trying to appease like the teenagers to watch it, and then,
then
but
us,
also
30
like
to
our
50
age that
year-old.
like remembers the Ducks.
Is there anybody else
and-
from the old movies in there? Because I just saw recently, like maybe it was last year, they had like all the like a lot of the original
right?
cast like went to like an
No.
Anaheim Ducks game.
But there's reciprocal characters.
Okay,
So like on the new team, they found this kid to be the goalie, and he's
Goldberg's
He's
cousin.
this little fat kid that like doesn't leave his mom's basement, but he plays hockey video games, and he's so good. And he's like, "Well, you mean I have to like go upstairs?" And they're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, I don't think I can do that." But like, you look at him, and it's fucking Goldberg. Like, it's hilarious.
that's
Maybe
awesome.
this is really song. Like, the
Could
kid's
be,
real,
maybe.
real actual song.
It could. I mean, it looks
It's possible.
identical.
Go
Well,
to
it was
IMDb
funny, man. I
real
was
quick.
watching this thing where they introduced all the old characters.
Yeah.
They went to this professional hockey game, and they're like introducing everybody, and they're like, it's like Connie Moreau or whatever her name is, and like all these people.
Yeah.
And Adam Banks was there. Then all of a sudden they're like, and Russ was Russ Tyler, the kid from the second movie. He's the one that shoots the knuckle puck.
Yeah.
They're like, Russ Tyler's brother. It's like, God, that's what the guy was remembering for.
Is Kenan Thompson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but he wasn't there. But they had his brother came out there
Kenan's brother?
yeah, like from the movie. Like so in the second movie, remember how his older brother's at the playground?
Yeah. Okay, all right, yeah.
So he came out. I was like, oh God. That's what he always introduced.
That's hilarious.
I was like, oh God, man. But yeah.
It's a fun show.
I'll
Like,
watch
we'll
it.
See.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, we were in. Gibbs was really into it.
I'll check it out.
You know, he likes the movies, so you know.
I love
but
movies.
Sloan was so mad, and like Gibbs finally had enough.
I just was never into the third movie.
Dude,
Kick to the face.
come on.
Yeah, the third movie is.
I don't even remember D3.
It wasn't that good.
It was so there was a prep academy,
Yeah.
and then like the majority of that team of the Junior Olympics or the Goodwill
Yeah,
Games
yeah.
team got
Went to that school.
scholarships to go play like at this school, right? And they were supposed to be like the freshman team.
There's there was a JV team because they had played in the JV varsity game.
Yeah,
that was like the big. That was the big game.
The big game.
Yeah.
So they went from like the kids league to the Olympics to
A prep academy.
Prep academy.
So you know what the best part about it is? Remember the star player that from Iceland,
yes.
like Gunnar Stahl.
That's who the coach looks like.
Gunnar
That's who I'm
Stahl
thinking of.
is on the varsity team at the same school.
You're right. You
in
pointed that out.
in the
not
third
that
movie, I'm
long
like,
ago.
why?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
he just moved from Iceland and went to the same exact high school that all the Mighty Ducks
It's
went to.
because he could skate and he was under contract at Disney.
Like, we got to keep this guy. We got to still use this character.
There's a Whitney Houston moment in this new series. That's all I'll say.
Okay, I'm interested
It's
now.
hilarious.
Okay, I'll watch it. I'm in.
It's fun.
All right, I like it.
What else? What else you got, dude? And you said you had some notes.
I did. I took some notes. Well, because I was supposed to be here, 4 months ago, 3 months ago.
Yeah, truth.
No, just like thinking about like what you experienced with number one, not really acknowledging, oh, this could be helpful, or this is something that like is very useful. Case in point, you have a newborn. Don't change the existing diaper before you have a new diaper underneath.
Mm.
You always layer it. So like, okay, before you take off the diaper, put the
new one underneath them,
and
then take the old one off.
Then you take the old one off and you just slip it over, right? I learned that one with Bennett because of the amount of times where you just take a diaper off and you randomly have the case of he starts peeing.
Yeah.
Like, oh fuck.
So it's
really
like
had that happen.
so it's like it's the quick. You get the old one off and flip the other one over. It's already there.
It's already there. Like,
Yeah.
So
you take it off and you already have the new diaper to then flip up and then
Yeah, it's
come
quick.
on.
So you gotta be fast about it.
So
Sometimes.
so like the dads with the newborns, like you just always don't wait to change the diaper to reach over to grab the new one and then put it on
Because they're already
Because that's
peeing or
gonna be an
crapping
issue
on the
yeah,
table,
yeah.
and it's like
I got
okay.
really good. I had a move with the diaper that, like, when it's folded, I could take it at I think it was the top left corner. I could take it and go kind of like flip it around. So like I would have old diaper, wipe, hold the legs, pick up, move
Flip it
this one
open.
to the side, take this one, flip down over. I got really good at that.
So my routine is don't even undo the
I could
the
see
diaper
how that would
first.
make
So
sense.
like you lift up the legs, you put the new diaper underneath
first.
right, and then you
Makes
there you
sense.
go,
This is gonna be
the
useful
baby,
for me.
and then you undo the diaper, right?
Dad hack.
Again, because I learned that from Bennett. It didn't happen a lot, but there was those times.
I mean,
where,
it
like,
happens though.
you-
Yeah.
So again, there's more people we know that have kids before ours. To like, and I remember hearing, of fucking pissed all over the place again. I'm like, oh, okay, that doesn't make any sense to me. But okay,
Now you get it.
now, so prevent that from happening, right?
Yeah,
Because then you already
right.
have that backup there.
Yeah, it's a good call.
So then another thing with diapers as well is that the sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
always unpack the sleeves with the butt up.
Oh.
So when you take the plastic cover up, you grab a diaper from, if you're going to use those sleeves, you grab one diaper from the butt.
Okay.
Because if you have it the waist up, you don't know which waist is going to be with one. So you can grab 2 or 3. It's like, no, I just need fucking one diaper. So you always undo the package, and then you stuff them wherever they're going to be. Stuff them butt side up.
We had like things.
Butt side up, yeah.
is for sure. Yeah,
So butt side up.
So you're only grabbing one.
So you're grabbing one butt.
Right.
You're grabbing one diaper.
That's true.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of little things that you don't know until like you're actually in the mix,
that's
right?
true.
That's true, because like, especially when you're
I
like
think
in
I
that moment.
subconsciously, or not subconsciously, but like we definitely did that. But there had to been a learning curve there somewhere.
I'm sure, yeah.
So P, listen to that.
Oh yeah, Breezy,
he's
yeah.
close.
Like yeah.
Precy's
A couple months out.
like
May, right?
Yeah, like end of May, I think.
Yeah. Right, shortly before me.
I joked around. I was like, he's gonna be, or she's gonna be now. She's gonna be born on my birthday, huh? To be sharing birthdays.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are like newborn type of tips right there.
Love that.
Yeah.
Did you find my old dad hack with the putting
The
pajamas
legs,
on the leg?
all the way through.
Have you tried that one?
I have. I never really need it with Bennett.
Okay.
He never.
It's never much of a kicker.
It just I don't know. I just never really needed to do it. I tried it out. You always have that tool in your toolbox to pull out. Like,
so
if
there
did
you go.
need it. So I have used it, but it's never like a routine basis.
Yeah, it wasn't
Like,
something that I used constantly, but it definitely helped on those situations where it was like,
I remember that
dude,
helped me with
just stay still, man. Yeah.
Because she never stays still.
Ben had this thing where he just kicked his legs. Like he was always, the kid was the happiest baby.
Second kids, man.
He was just always, no matter what, you could go
She is
into his
a-
room
oh, yeah,
and he would
yeah,
just have the
Palmer's
biggest
a
smile on
big
his
one.
face, but like his legs were just always like constantly,
I have my
just boom,
song-
back and forth. It's like constantly.
I have my song like so. Palmer's like doing her thing.
Yeah.
I'm like kicking. Like I'll sing, and she was just like big ass smile.
Yeah, the
And
smile,
she-
man,
like,
is
just like,
nothing
so
better
whatever,
than
like,
that,
the
man.
routine. It's funny.
I love it.
But
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna keep riffing off things.
You
I
could,
was thinking
yeah,
about.
right.
Go ahead.
off.
You got more,
I like
go.
it.
It's like a Bennett. Thinking about Bennett again. Toddler phase of, talking, doing whatever. Whining in the car seat, doing something. Like, oh, what's over there? Like the distraction.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So like, a big thing was, oh, there's an airplane. Oh, here's the horse, right? We were driving the horse every day. Oh, the horse is sticking out, right? Here's a Jeep. Do you know what a Jeep is? Jeep. Like, here's a Jeep. Auntie Tammy drives a Jeep. That's your car, right? Like, this is her car. And you see Jeeps everywhere. So, like, now he calls them out, like, oh, Jeep, right? So we count Jeeps,
Okay.
right? And so now he's, again, like, talking about, like, surroundings and teaching him about, like, head on a swivel or, like, hey, what's around you to be aware of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so it ties into a proud dad moment as well of there's times where I'll be driving and I don't even see like a Jeep. He's like, there's a Jeep, and I'm like what the, oh my, good eye, man, good eye. There you go, there's a Jeep. Or like, oh, airplane. And like I didn't even hear it. How did you even see that thing? Like, it's like
Just looking, yeah, man.
very, very small, and he's all over the place. And so he beats me sometimes, and so it's like amazing. Like,
Yeah, that's something to be proud of, man.
like,
It's very observant.
like you're teaching those skills, and then again, like the talking wise, I explain why. It's like why it's important to know your surroundings and like to take it all in to know. There's a Jeep beeping at us.
The Jeep thing.
To know your directions and to know where you're. I always hear you talk about like you're in a room. What's your exit strategy, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like you're teaching them a little bit of that of like, okay, know what your next move is, or okay, where you're at and this is where you passed, so that means you have to come back that way, if you're coming
Right.
home.
Yeah.
Or just trying to talk those
good,
different
man.
landmarks out of like, here's the red barn, here's this old gray house, or like here's the blue house, or
And it's funny how they pick that kind of stuff up, because like both my kids, like we'd be driving and Sam's like, okay, he would know where to turn.
yeah.
Yep.
Like, and Ben does the same thing. Or even like, I'll be sitting at a light and I get distracted and like I'm kind of just looking around and I'll hear Ben in the backseat say, "Go." And I'll look up in the light screen. I'm like, "Oh, good job, buddy." Like he's watching the traffic lights. He does it all the time.
Yeah.
Like he'll.
So have you done the colors with him?
Yeah.
So like Bennett goes,
Yep.
green means go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Red means stop.
He'll just be like, "Go, Dad, go."
I
I'm like, "Oh,
like,
you're right. Sorry, buddy."
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that. Like the kids know. Like, all right. So from the apartment to the new house, there's really 2 ways to go. There's a longer way and a shorter way, and so depending on when I pick the kids up, like I try and pick them up earlier if I can, and we'll hang out for a little bit. But then like what we've been doing is meeting Chelsea at the house, like when she gets off of work, just to go see what they did for the day or whatever. And like they'll know by the time we get to that certain point, they were like, "Are we going the long way or the short way?" I'm like, "Well, Mom's not off work yet,
Yeah, so we gotta
we're
kill
gonna
some
go
time.
the long way. We're gonna
Yeah.
kill some time. We're gonna go to,
Yeah.
we're gonna go see what we can see." I'm like, "Oh, can we just take the short way and get there?" I'm like,
It's funny, man, because like I'll try that sometimes where like I want Ben to fall asleep, take a nap, or just fall asleep in the car. So I'll just kind of go. They know the route,
right?
so I'll go through like a neighborhood, like off like Waldemere.
Yeah.
And Sam's like, "Dad," he's like, "This isn't the right way."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Dude,
Why
just
are you going this way? Go the other
So he's
way.
like, "Dad,
Go
the
other
house is
way."
over there." I'm like, "I know, man." I'm like, "Shut up."
I know where I'm at.
Ben's like, "Dad, no, that's not home." I'm like, "I know." God, just fall asleep. Well, you guys
They're
already figured it out.
smart kids,
They
man,
know what they're
right?
doing.
Like,
Yeah.
they pick up more than you can ever think of.
Yeah.
Or ever imagine that they would just pick up, because you think like they're just in their seat and all they're seeing is the back of your like seat.
Yeah, but they're watching
And they're not. They're seeing
everything.
everything, and they see it over and over and over and over again. And it,
Yeah, the cool
So
thing
we-
with like,
we're trying to work on days of the week now.
Yeah.
Right. So like, today's Friday. So Fridays are, the start of the weekend, and this is what we do. And we've been doing like movie nights lately
yeah,
because again, we're not doing anything else.
there's nothing else to do. Yeah,
get it.
have something exciting.
But okay, tomorrow's Saturday, right? What do we do on Saturday? We go for walks. We go get special coffee, which is Starbucks, right?
Yeah,
So the landmark, right? So where we live, we go down to the Willoughby Hills Pine Ridge Starbucks, right? There's a big water tower, so he's always can see the water tower, and he always knows where the water
Right.
tower
Yep.
is, right?
Starbucks time.
Yeah. So he's going to get coffee, and so we get him a short. I do
Mocha or yeah.
No, steamed milk, right? So you can get a short steamed milk,
Oh,
so that it's in a Starbucks cup, it's in a sleeve, it's hot, right?
oh, it's hot. Oh, okay.
So it's
well,
a
it's
steamed
steamed.
milk,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I get him instead of getting like a can or whatever it is, like
They-
Yeah,
like the
little,
box.
little box one with the straw.
I
Yeah.
get him a steamed milk, so he has his cup of coffee. So he cheers us like, oh, "Good morning."
So you can
here's your
get
coffee.
in the short cup, you can get just milk that they add a little bit of mocha to. So it's just like chocolate milk. It's not like the coffee. They
Okay,
call it mocha, but it's really just chocolate.
Cool.
Like,
Yeah.
I think maybe I'm not giving my kid caffeine. I don't know. No, but
Well,
like
it's probably just
but
a chocolate syrup then.
You're always
it's
just wired
chocolate
after
syrup,
that.
And then, and then they'll if you sometimes, and we try not to do it all the time, but like you can get the whipped cream on top.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And they
Special
call it
treatment.
what do they call it? I can't remember. We haven't done it in a while, actually, or I think Chelsea does, but yeah, I don't know.
But we
Like,
try
they
to
get
include
excited.
them.
Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah.
they
That's so
feel
like, oh,
involved.
we're gonna get mommy a special latte coffee.
Yeah,
Then we're going to Starbucks, so you get your own, right? So
Yeah.
like, I can't remember where I was going with this, but like
It's like the landmarks and things like
Yeah,
that. The
landmarks,
things
yeah.
that they
It's
pick up and
special
they're
stuff
they're
to
just
do.
yeah.
yeah.
It's pretty cool. I do love that. It's just fun to watch their minds work.
So the days of the week though too, like, so going to daycare, there's plazas all in that like corner, and so Tuesdays and Thursdays, a guy works at one of these facilities. He drives this like tricked out, like blacked out Jeep, right? So, hey buddy, it's Tuesday. You think we're gonna see that Jeep? Oh yeah. So we pass it. There's your Jeep. So it's Tuesday. When are we gonna see it again? Thursday.
Yeah.
oh, that's good.
So like we're starting to recognize
Yeah.
those patterns, right?
Yeah.
And again, trying to teach them those patterns to say, okay, we've noticed that we do this route every single day.
Right.
We know, and I've seen him like park and like get out of his car, so I know it's a guy. Like,
Yeah.
hey,
Right.
this guy works here
Right.
on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and so, Monday we don't see him, right?
Yeah.
Are we gonna see him tomorrow? Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna see him tomorrow. Why?
Because
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah,
Yep,
right?
not on
So
Wednesday.
it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
All right.
good,
so
dude.
When are we gonna see him again?
That's
Thursday.
awesome.
You know, so like,
Yeah.
So then we, try to go through that cycle, and then I'm still trying to again think about the patterns and the what we can observe, and then teach them and talk to them about this is what I have seen. Do you think you're gonna see the same thing?
Yeah.
Right. So
It's a cool stuff and it's just amazing how they pick it up, and it's really impressive, and it's something to be proud of.
Yeah, and I mean, just talking about it and doing it's all reps, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
it's
how
all
we
mental
learn,
reps, yeah, too,
right? Like
yeah.
it's mental reps of every day, like understanding what the pattern is, and then talking through it so that they recognize the pattern, and then they're just it's over and over and over again, and like then you start to see patterns in life, right? I know Sloan's really into patterns right now.
Yeah.
It's hilarious to me. Like they're not always correct, but she'll be like, "Dad, that's kind of a pattern," and like it'll be, like different colors in like in our pantry of like the different colored boxes, and like it's close to a pattern. I'm like, well, how would you make it a pattern? And then she'll move like the blue box to the yellow box. I'm like, all right, so now it's blue, yellow, red, blue, yellow, red. And,
that's
all right,
cool.
that's good.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
that's
awesome.
great. So
Yeah, they
she-
figure it out, man.
It's a skill though.
It-
That's
yeah.
that's, there's adults that can't figure
That's a
those patterns.
very
It's true. It's very true.
It's very true. I mean,
These
like,
kids-
like recognizing patterns and being able to create a pattern is a very
problem
like,
solving abilities.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
Gotta love it.
Which going back to like your earlier statement of like the expectations we have for kids and schooling and grades and stuff, like, and then pulling into your own childhood experience. Like I know, like I was a good student, right? It was just it came naturally to me, and I can't credit anything for that. I just it is what it is.
Sure. Mhm.
And but my parents took that in high regard, and they didn't really, I shouldn't say shame is probably the wrong word, but like I always strive to, have that perfect, 4.0 and whatnot to appease my parents. Right. And looking back on that, it was like, I just memorized a whole bunch of shit to, get good grades or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I did very well in school and very educated in that regard. It's like, I know from my experience, like I don't want my children to have the same type of thing. Like grades don't matter in the world, really. Like,
Right.
It might be able to open doors or get you some places, but anything can.
Yeah,
right?
it's not
Yeah,
that
I
they
mean,
don't matter,
it's-
but like
it's-
understanding concepts and understanding
yeah.
the world that you live in, I think is just such a important skill that I don't know that we were ever really taught.
Yeah. And being able to talk through, like,
Right.
if you got a B on something, that's okay. What did you learn to get to that B? And then how can you translate that to the real world? Like, I'll be able to have that conversation.
I can remember my mom talking to me because I was a B student. Could I have been an A student? Absolutely.
For sure.
But I never put the word. And like, I remember my mom saying like, well, why did you get a B? I was like, well, I didn't study. Well, do you want to get an A? I'm like, do I need to get an A?
Yeah, I
She's
mean,
like,
still
and she
gonna
would-
pass.
And she would be like, well, tell me the reasoning behind it, And she would say like, what is your goal? And I'm talking like sophomore, junior in high school type of.
Well, that's
time
great.
Yeah.
You
frame.
even had those conversations with your mom.
And she would have
Yeah.
those conversations with me. I'm like, look, I mean, I remember it was like after I had already signed up for the Marine Corps. Like I knew I was going because I signed up like right after 9/11.
Yeah.
So we were like almost 2 full years from graduating.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, well, I understand. She's like, you're not dumb. You're smart. Like you, I'm not saying don't put the work in, but also if you're doing what you need to do, like she was okay with it.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, but like, I
But you
can
understood.
certainly respect that now looking back on it. I'm like, because I did not waste a lot of time. Like I went to work, instead of studying at home. Like I could have gotten much better grades, and I don't know, but it all worked
I mean,
out,
yeah,
so.
it's fine. I mean, it's not like if they're not, like you said, they don't have to have the perfect grades, right? I mean, it's like it's
And
a good,
I-
it's
and I'm not
absolutely
gonna-
it's a good thing.
And I'm not going to hold that standard either.
Yeah,
right? Like that.
It's all, like if
that's
they
the
if they
difference there.
get like a B, it's like, well, it's a failure. Like, I can't believe, how could you do something like that?
I remember like if I ever got a B on a test, like I would be so ashamed to come home that day to to talk to my parents about that.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
and I don't want my kids to experience the same type of feeling of.
Well, it's anxiety. That's like, it's like added stress to your life when it's not the end of the world, but you feel like it is in that moment.
My mom being like, "Well, did you try your best? And what could you have done to do better?" And as long as I could answer that question honestly, and like, yeah, I could have not gone to work.
That's
or
a
I
lesson
could have
in
not
itself right
hung
there.
out or with my friends or whatever, and I could have studied. It was not that it was okay, but it was, all right, what are you going to do next time?
Yeah.
And whether I did it or not is, but
how can you build from
it's
that,
irrelevant,
though?
but like, I think that those were like the bigger lessons that I learned.
Yeah.
You know,
I
taking
think it's
responsibility for your own actions.
Yeah, and I think going to another level higher to that too is like, I never talked to my parents about goal setting or like, dreams you want to accomplish or like, what do you want to do in life, right? Like, to be able to have those conversations with my children too is going to be a world of difference. To know, like, okay, all right, so what's Spanish, or whatever it is, call it, it could be English and
anything,
right?
Future, whatever the fuck it is, right? All right, you don't excel in this area, right? Who the fuck cares?
Right.
Yeah.
Let's find the other 3 things that you're really good at. And
Sure.
pinpoint those,
Yeah.
and that's where you're going to go off of in life,
Right.
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 If it's talking to people or IT or whatever
I mean,
it is, like,
Even-
animation.
but here's the deal, though. Like, you
could
you could find something as a kid and be like, okay, I'm going to go to school for this, and you're done. You do something completely different that has nothing to do with anything that you went to school for.
Yeah.
It's just like, but it's that going through that schooling, going through that that dedication,
It's going through
and
the
that-
process.
It's going through the
Right.
whole process,
Right.
and like
Right.
that's what really
That's
counts.
the value that you
Yeah.
get. I'm here to tell you that the dirty secret in education is that social and emotional competency is more important than anything you'll ever learn from a book.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's true.
I mean, think about it. Like really take a step back and think about your day-to-day life, whether it's, getting a new job or moving to a new city or whatever. Like, your livelihood often depends on your ability to interact with the people that you're around.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of a fancy way of saying it's not what you know, it's who you know, but like your ability to interact with your new boss or your ability
it's
to
how you
interact with your
apply that.
team, how you apply that. And look, I'm not saying that like you shouldn't want your kids to achieve everything that they can academically. What I'm saying is like there is more than memorizing something
Right.
to appease a standardized test or hit the charts right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, charts are a lot of things for parents.
Yeah,
And I think that all comes down to talking to your kids like humans.
yeah,
Right. That comes to letting them interact with other kids, their age group, and then older kids and younger kids, and having conversations with them afterwards and saying, okay, well, this happened at the park. Like, how did that make you feel? Why did you react the way that you did? If you could do it over again, what would you do? And those are all just lessons that we, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat,
Exactly.
and then they learn.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we're big on. So Dana and I, we've read a few good articles based on like how you phrase things, like the language you use, right? So like we try not to talk about like what's good or bad per se, like, because we don't want to put the thought in the kids now, their minds of you're good versus you're bad, right?
Mhm.
It's okay. Was that choice you made the right choice or the wrong choice?
Mm-hmm.
And what's good and bad from that? So like, you're not a good or bad person.
The decisions.
You made a poor
it's
choice in
yeah.
that situation,
that
or
poor
you made a good choice.
Right.
You're
Right.
right.
Like, so
right.
it's like very intentional of how you phrase things and the way you
Well, that's teaching them to
describe
take
it.
ownership of something that they had control over.
Yeah.
When you imply that they're good or bad, that almost
because there's so
means
many
that
so many
you didn't have a choice in
instances
the
of
matter.
of don't be bad, right?
Yeah.
Like, all right, well, now you're just telling a kid that like you're just a bad kid,
Right.
Yeah, because that's how they take it.
And that's not true.
and it's not true.
Right.
It was just a bad decision.
You made a bad decision
Yeah.
in that moment. Here is why.
Yeah, explain
and
to
almost-
them what you did wrong, and just be like, how do you feel? Like, what did you do here? Was that the right decision? Just talk it out with them, and that goes way further than just being like,
Well,
"You're bad.
Because
You're
by
bad.
talking
You're bad."
it out with them, you're giving them the empowerment to understand that they have a choice in the matter,
Yeah.
and that they have control over that situation, right? I mean, like, I think even for adults, understanding that you have control over a certain situation is so empowering.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like I have a say in, whatever.
Yeah.
Like by doing choice A, B, or C, there's going to be a different outcome. Like that's crazy.
And that's what we try to
There's a lot of people that don't understand that.
Yeah.
we try to give Bennett as many choices as we can, which again, every day is different and it's tough sometimes, and you just want to like mandate like you're fucking doing this, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's tough.
And sometimes you have to.
But it's like as easy question as what do you want for dinner?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you want the A or B? Right?
Yeah. Make the decision.
Like make the decision.
And that's
So
good
it's-
because there's adults like myself and my wife included that like we can't decide sometimes.
Yeah.
That's like when we're in a good place, like it's when we plan, right? And we say, all right, Monday we're going to do
Yeah.
this.
You have the
Tuesday,
whole
we're gonna do this.
map drawn up for the week.
That's great because it takes one less decision out of the equation.
Well, it's like as an adult, it's so difficult to make a decision. Like, what do you have for dinner tonight? We're gonna go out. We're gonna go out. What do you want?
When
trying
we
to
were in
yeah.
here,
Like Bill is like,
like
hey, I'm
4
gonna go pick up
dudes.
food. What do you guys want? I don't know. What are you thinking? No one's. He's like, you guys are like a bunch of chicks, man. Just tell me what you guys want. I'll go pick it up.
But so there's a teachable moment that for your kids there, just thinking about, leadership principles and just like the sports element of, hey, when you're in that case and you have four friends, 3 friends, wherever it is, that can't make a decision, you step up.
Yeah.
The leader steps up.
right?
Yeah.
And then you, as a leader, you need to make the best decision you can,
Mhm.
get input, but at the same time, like you are the one to drive the process.
Because your friends are gonna need it. Like,
Yeah,
if it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, somebody just say something. What are we gonna do? All right, pick
Well,
it. Let's,
yeah,
And
I
then
mean-
like let it be the right decision. Yeah, maybe it's not.
Well,
Whatever.
if
But that's
not, you
it's a
learn
lesson.
from it
Yeah.
too. Yeah. Right.
So
Yeah. 100%.
lots of good stuff.
Good stuff there.
What's that?
A lot of good stuff.
Yeah, we're
So
killing it,
good.
man.
A lot of psychology.
That's what we always say. This
I
is like
love it.
therapy right here,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I remember talking about that in episode 11, right?
Yeah.
Of
That still blows my
the
mind.
Talking Dads. I stated that, right? I was like, holy shit, this is like therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We use it all the time now.
And
We do.
I know a lot of people have talked about like the health consequences and like the decisions they made to promote, but like I have to say, like from that episode, and I really thought it was beneficial to talk on a deeper manner with you guys. Like I seeked out my company's EAP, and like because it was a short time after my dad passed
Mm-hmm.
when we first talked.
Yep.
And then my mom passed thereafter, but within the whole process, like I was like, holy shit, like this is beneficial. And I did talk to people, and then like, from everything that's happened in my life, I did talk to an actual therapist, and I haven't done it for quite a while now, but I did go on a routine basis, and it was helpful. I was able to take a step back and say like, oh, I am the person I am today because of what happened to me when I was 5 and 10
Right.
and 15.
Mm-hmm.
And like you can pinpoint, and like talking through that and going through the tools that a therapist has, like you're able to, again, when I think about my mindset of like being a dad, of like, all right, how can I be a better dad than my dad was ever, and then be a better grandfather that I never had, right? Like that's my whole mindset of fatherhood. Like I was able to take a lot from those therapy sessions and then now apply them to my life.
Yeah.
And again, I have to always preface, I'm not perfect. I'm not, the best dad, not the best husband, but like there's always room for improvement. But like I've grown a lot over the last couple of years just because of that fact.
And I don't think anybody is perfect. Like, I mean, we all make mistakes, but I think that we are trying to be we're trying to be better about everything that we're doing. And I think that's the most important part, is like recognizing that, yeah, we're not perfect, but
I don't know if my mindset on that is good or bad, very binary, but like, rather than compare yourself to somebody else, whether it's your dad or your grandfather or, whatever, your friends, whatever. I think that what helps me, at least, is to say, am I reaching or surpassing my potential? So, like, I try to compare myself to myself.
Yeah.
And, like, you can do that on a short or long-term basis. Like, I can look at, like sometimes I'll compare, like, what I do with Sloan to what I did with Gibbs. And, like, first kid, you're super patient, right? Like, you're learning and you're
totally
very
different.
conscious of what you're doing. Second kid, like, it's a little more chaotic. And then even from day to
talked
day.
about this before too. Like the second kid is a totally different human.
Yes.
Yeah, they do everything completely different.
Personality, different.
Right.
In our cases, genders, but like it's a totally different routine,
Yeah.
totally different.
Yeah.
Completely different people.
Needs and how they act and then how they respond.
Right.
So it's just like
It's a start over again and just try to
Yeah.
figure out what works for them. I mean, because they are completely different. The way they learn, the way they
Right.
receive things from you, and like how they react to things. It's like it's completely different.
But
and you just
like,
got to figure
those
out.
are things that you can't control, right? Because they're different people.
Yeah.
What you can control is how you react to situations, how you handle certain situations, and like, again, I'll try to compare myself to who I was yesterday, or who I was 3 months ago, or who I was last year. And at the end of the day, if I can look myself in the mirror and say, all right, and I try to be honest with myself, because there's lots of times where I'll look at myself and I'll be like, dude, I was a dick today.
Yeah.
I mean, quite honestly, I will. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck. Or I'll text Steve. I'm like, dude, when's the next podcast? 'Cause
we need it, man.
I
need to talk it out.
like reset. And,
It's true.
Like, we joke about that, but honestly, this thing is the most selfish thing I've ever done. Is this podcast?
Well, you guys talk about all the time, right? It's the therapy you guys
It's
have and
what
the,
I need.
The
It's because
ability to hit reset, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys do any journaling?
I started
He
to.
started to. I don't.
So Pete Villada, right?
Yeah.
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 Like when after getting him involved.
Thanks
and,
for
and talking.
that.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah, and like listening to him talk, like I bought one of those 1 a day lines.
Yeah.
And I've turned it into like just the a cheap version of a gratitude journal.
Yeah.
Of like what's the best thing that happened, or like one thing I really want to remember, right? And that's the point of that always. But I really like that he was able to promote that resource, right? That tool in the toolbox,
Right.
and give a shout out to him that like I actually I've talked to him about this. Like I can't wait to have like 5 of these to
Right.
Yeah.
25 years, and then have them on my bookshelf
That.
of
Yeah.
when I'm a grandpa, and then my grandkid can say, "What the hell happened in 2021?" Right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna start flipping through what he the mindset of whatever it is, right?
So again, going back to episode 11, like, that's fucking legacy.
Yeah. That's
Right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, hopefully you're able to sit there with your grandkids
and
read that
to
with
them,
them.
Yeah, exactly.
But, God forbid something happens and you're not. Isn't that something that tangible that they can look at
and be like, wow, this was what was going on in Grandpa's.
Yeah.
Like,
Like that's
life at this time
amazing
and-
too, right?
yeah, like oh, this is what Dad
legacy.
did when he was 2.5, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, he had a great day pooping on the potty.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that stuff's awesome, man. And I mean, and it's the type of thing. And the nice thing about writing stuff down is like, there's a lot of things that go on in life every single day, and it's a lot of times it goes in, and it just goes away.
Oh, that's so easy to do.
It just goes away. But if you write it down, you start remembering things. And you're like, oh yeah, shit. And then it stays, because when you write stuff down, it really just sticks with you. It helps to just keep it in your brain, keep it that memory.
Like tonight, I'm gonna go home and write my one sentence of like my experience on the Talking Dads, podcast
Mhm.
for my second time around, right? Like, and that's gonna be awesome to, hopefully again, 25 years to have someone open that up and ask me about it. Like, oh, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Hopefully I remember that.
You'd be like, yeah, like look at this, kids.
Or something, but like
When Grandpa was on the Talking Dads, the biggest podcast in the world, I was number 11 in 95.
No big deal.
I was so famous. So yeah,
man.
No, I love it, man. It's all good stuff. Feels good being here. Because this is the kind of stuff I don't talk about with anybody else, which is cool. Because like you don't have these conversations, so that's what's really nice about this.
I've been talking so best friend Maddie Lane, right?
Mm-hmm.
How's Maddie doing?
He lives in
He's in Detroit, right?
Yeah, Detroit, right? So he just had baby number 2.
Yeah.
And so we've really talked a lot more openly these last couple of years, because of our fatherhood too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a good connector of experience and just like sharing things.
Yeah, it's great to have somebody that you could talk to.
And
Yeah.
just having that deeper level.
It's a bond.
A bond,
Yeah. It's level of understanding because you're going through the same stuff, and it's very helpful because not everybody has that,
Right.
and that's why we always say that's why we started it.
Yeah, even though like we can't get together like you guys two, you two can, right, and have your own podcast, but like, shit.
I mean, you could if you really wanted to.
It's so like what in January.
Good franchise.
Him and I had a FaceTime call for like 4 hours on a Friday night. We drank a bottle of booze together.
Yeah.
And like just talked like from literally. I mean, it's probably.
When did you say January? You said it was in January.
I think it was.
Okay.
I think it was like 2 months ago.
Okay.
2 or 3. Yeah, something like that. Right.
What are you getting at?
I remember this was in like November. Witterman.
Yeah.
And I think same thing with you. Like it was like a week before or after.
Yeah.
I don't remember who was first, but like, it'd been like several months through pandemic.
Yeah.
And Whit like FaceTimed me. He's like, "Hey, dude." I'm like, "Hey." And it was like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And like I was sitting down there and it was before that. It was over the summer.
Yeah,
because I was at my house.
Yeah.
And I was down. I just remember being down in the basement. And eventually I was like, dude, it's like 3 a.m. I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, because he did the same thing. He texted me. He goes, "Want to have a drink?" Like, yeah, absolutely. And same thing. It was like, man. And then like halfway through, I'm like, dude, this is so nice.
Yeah.
I'm like, I haven't like talked to anybody like on the phone
Right.
like this in
Right.
years. I mean, you just never do it. It's like text
we don't
messages.
do it, right?
Nobody
Like,
does.
yeah, you
you
send a
just
text
and
'cause
it's like
it's easy.
cool.
Get
And
to
then
it when you
eventually
get to it.
you get a few words in there. It's like back and forth for a little while, then it just ends, and you're like, all right.
Right.
But phone call or FaceTime, that's so nice to do sometimes.
So you and Maddie,
That's the beauty that you guys have too. Is like every week you get to have a really deep conversation with someone that you've known for a long time, like me,
Right.
or someone new, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then you build that relationship over time too. Like, I mean,
well, and then like even just like, just for him and I, like we've known each other very, very closely since we were 5 years old.
McMinn,
But-
baby.
Yeah.
and, it was funny. I was listening to the side note here of the one-on-one you guys had a few weeks ago.
Oh,
I can't remember.
Yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
episode it
We
was.
were like
just
on
the one-on-one. Like
yeah,
you guys
yeah,
had the late night one,
right.
Yeah.
It was like super late on a Wednesday night.
and you guys were talking about McMinn baseball,
Yeah.
about the outfield.
Yeah. Yes.
Of like the stupid rocks we had to deal with.
Yeah, man.
And that big ass fucking tree in right field.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
You had the tree in right field and you had the apartment building in the left field.
The tree that came over the field that we would hit balls into.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes it was still fair game somehow.
It's like Plinko coming down. You're like sitting underneath it, like waiting for it to come down. Meanwhile, the kids would round the bases.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking field sucked so
good.
bad.
So awesome.
Made it so much better.
Miss that.
It made us better people from it though.
100%.
Damn straight.
I want to throw that out there.
McMinn for life.
Absolutely. But
So-
no, I mean, 100% selfishly, like, I love the fact that I get to hang out with Steve. And then it's, whether it's
getting somebody like you on who we've known forever also, then we get to actually sit down and catch up.
Yeah.
Or it's somebody new, like we got introduced to Pete.
Yeah.
Right? Like you were just talking about Pete.
He's gonna be coming back on
what
again
a
with
hell
us.
of a dude.
Yeah.
Like, and he's coming back on in a couple
We
weeks.
text,
now.
we text each other. Like we stay in contact with the
we-
people that we have on that we've never met before, and
It's
it's, like
just building that network and meeting new people and talking with old friends and talking with each other. It's done so much for my like mental health.
yeah. Because like I said, guys don't usually have these type of conversations, right?
Right. It's all superficial.
And like and a lot of times,
100%
it
true.
really is. And to actually have a real conversation, it's rare.
I mean, like when you brought up Angelo, like we talked to him. Dude, I haven't talked to Angelo in like
It was a good conversation.
15 years.
Yeah.
And we sat down and we did a couple hours and
But think about that too. Like we've talked to him before, but not like
that was probably the most real conversation I've ever had with him. And
Absolutely.
he was wonderful. And like it was real and it was true. You know what I mean? Like
Genuine,
you know, genuine. Yeah.
To
But
give him credit too, like after his health issue,
yeah.
Like he did change, and you know, I remember, you know, when all that happened, and like having more. Again, if it's maturity on our level, like, you know, before we became dads, and like just becoming older and being more of a in our professional careers or whatever it was,
Right.
like, you know, we would have, you know, deeper conversations, and besides just like, you know, when we're, you know, 22 years old trying to go to, you know, the bars regular and do whatever we need to do, get in fights and, you know, be
chicks,
rowdy
dude.
and
Chicks.
and, you know, and just get as drunk as we can.
Yeah.
Right. Like that was the norm that we
living
dealt
in
with.
living in Chinatown in Philly.
Yeah. we're in Center City, dude.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It was
Well,
close
it
though.
was it was across the street.
Across the street. we could smell the noodles. So good.
But yeah, I mean, just to finish that comment of like, because of his, you know, changeover,
Right.
we were able to like take a step back and say,
Sure.
well, you know, what's better in life to talk about. So it was, again, I don't know if it's maturity or just, you know,
Yeah, it's a combination,
Well,
right?
I
Like
think
it's
it's a
all
combination,
it's all of it coming together, and it's just like, I don't know, lack of a better term, like evolution, right? Like like on a micro level, right? Like not a macro. Like we're just evolving as men, right? Like it's okay to talk about things, and we understand the
Right,
benefits
right. Yeah, I see what
to
you're
talking
saying. Yeah.
about real issues that are going on, versus like when you're a kid, man, you just like, I'm not talking about that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about this stuff,
yeah,
man.
it's like, all right, going like, again, like I hate always going to the comparison purposes, but like I remember, you know, like, hey, you're a boy, you don't cry.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
tell Bennett all the time, Dan and I both were, you know, on the same page about stuff like that. Hey, buddy, are you sad?
Yeah.
You know what? Daddy cries.
Yeah.
I cry all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of it because it makes me feel better.
Yeah,
And if
somebody's got to do it.
If you're that sad or you're that mad, or even if, you know what, sometimes, hey, guess what? When you're happy,
Yeah.
you cry.
Sure.
And it makes you feel even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like when that happens? Absolutely. Okay. How does it make you feel when you cry after you're really frustrated or sad? Does it make you feel better? Oh, yeah, it does. Good. I'm glad you can acknowledge that.
Yeah.
And you keep doing it, man.
Right.
Because if it's going to help you, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
true.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
I literally had that conversation with Bennett 3 days ago.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
great
good
too. That's great. Yeah.
Because it means so much more. Maybe this is not true, but in my head, it means so much more coming from dad
Yeah.
than
Oh,
mom.
for sure.
Because moms are, you know, I guess in a very sexist way, more in tune with emotions.
Mm-hmm.
It's that maternal side though that kicks in.
Right,
high
right,
gear.
right. Which we should be, because we do, right? Like we do have emotions, and we should celebrate those emotions.
just human.
Like it's human,
Yeah.
right? Like, also, I don't cry, I work out. I just had to say that.
Just gonna get a movie quote in there. Haven't had many movie quotes tonight, so thank you. Yeah.
That's all I could think about.
Starsky and
I
Hutch.
and I was very I made sure that it didn't ruin the moment. Like, I had to.
Hey, you got to get
it
that
out
comic
there.
relief from
I'll
time to
cry
time.
or
Yeah,
go.
yeah. You're crying. I don't cry. So
Oh,
I mean, it's
man.
funny, like those, you know, stereotypes or whatever you want to put it. Like, there's plenty of times where Bennett falls down, or it has in the past, and will cry, and then no fault to Dana. Do you want me to kiss that boo boo?
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, mommy. Yeah, please kiss it. Okay. So then, like, again, phrases and that type of thing of the reinforcement, repetitions. Okay, what do we do when we fall down?
Get up.
get back up.
Get back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So like, I've said that for about a year now, right? Probably a year plus, and now like, it's awesome. So
They get it.
Bennett, it was this Friday, probably Tuesday. He fell down in the grass when he wasn't supposed to. He was like running in the side yard, and like we're trying to get him back in like for dinner and stuff. And he fell down, and I took a pause, and like I waited for him to like react to it, and he popped right back up. He's like, "I'm up, I'm ready, let's go." And I'm like, "All right, what happened?" He's like, "I fell down." "And what did you do?" "I got back up, Dad."
Good.
Perfect.
Good. That's
Let's go.
awesome.
You
That-
good?
That's great.
You good? I'm good. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
You ready to go inside? Yeah. You hungry? Yeah. All right, let's go. Like, so
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
again, like,
Again, it's talking about every single little thing and Monday morning quarterbacking every situation, because that's what they need, right? Like they need, and quite honestly, we need to break it down,
Yeah.
right? When you break it down, they're understanding.
Help them understand it.
We're understanding, and it's just good for everyone involved.
yeah. And then I've had, just to drill down that point of, I've had multiple conversations of why we get back up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Of, okay, it's called resiliency. Daddy has had to be resilient out of a lot of different situations in life. Here's why. This is why it means to you of growing and keep moving forward and doing the things you need to do to get older and to do the things that you want to do, right?
Yeah.
So like, again, trying to articulate that to a 3-year-old, and at the same time,
Yeah,
like,
but it's
having them retain it and like learning from that is.
But again,
they take it in.
it's
they soak it in.
reps.
Like it's just like having that constant reinforcement of.
Well, and again, it's reps. And like, even if we think that like, oh my God, he understood that concept, like maybe they didn't, maybe they did a little bit, but
It takes
in
the
10
300th
years,
time.
in 20 years, when resiliency is part of his DNA,
Mm-hmm.
like that's why. You know what I mean? Like they've been exposed to that concept, and they've like in their face, like have had to understand that concept for 10, 12, 15 years.
Yeah.
Of course it's going to come natural,
Right.
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Like it's not natural. It's like that's been part of their upbringing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's true. 100%.
All right, we've done a ton of good stuff. We're gonna keep talking afterwards,
For sure.
but I gotta pee.
Same
So
here.
We're gonna close this off.
Swords.
We
can.
could do that. Yeah,
Three-way.
absolutely. 3-way swords. I'm in.
Speaking of going to the bar and getting drunk like we did back in the day.
Tommy, always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us.
It's a good time.
Pleasure's all mine, fellas. I said it before, and I say it to you guys whenever I see you and talk to you. Doing a great thing. I love it. I'll always support it, and whatever I can do to grow it, to help you both prosper and thrive and get this to the next level. And I'm all in, man.
We
Thank you,
appreciate that, man. That
Thank
means a
you
lot.
so much.
Thank you.
I mean, and really, it's just continuing to have conversations like these,
Yeah.
right? Like, there's so much value in some kid out there realizing that he's going to be a dad, listening to somebody like you talk. Like we're one
Absolutely.
thing, but like, I don't know, you're great. So
Yeah.
level that shit up. Get a fucking roar deck.
Roar deck. Yeah.
Yeah. Get the
fucking
roar deck, man.
Is that
I'm doing
is
that.
that gonna be the?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. That's
I love
like
it.
already.
That's definitely the title.
Yeah, it's 100% the title.
I love it.
So yeah, thanks, Tommy. Man, we
yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Thanks for
make
having me.
sure make sure you guys check out his first episode, episode 11,
Yeah, man.
because that was a lot of fun. And then just seeing it, like, I don't know, like there's a lot of people that like don't check out the early episodes, right? Like
Yeah.
where
Oh yeah,
it would be fun to go back on it and be like,
go back.
going from
Start from scratch, man.
yeah.
absolutely.
And it's cool, as I've grown with you both, as at the same time as a listener and a fan, it's cool to see you guys grow and evolve, right? The show,
Yeah.
and so like again, new listeners definitely need to start from scratch and do the whole process too.
Get through the first like couple.
It was tough,
It's
man.
a learning process. I mean, look, like
Hey.
we've learned tons about like
It's like anything
how
in
to do
life.
this,
It's not gonna be
right?
perfect right off the bat.
Yeah.
Just keep improving.
So in order to do that, make sure you subscribe on whatever podcast you're listening to. Check out all the socials. Website, www.thetalkingdads.com. We have a Patreon now.
We have a Patreon.
So we're trying to get that kicked off. A lot of cool stuff coming up. So make sure you just follow along on all that kind of stuff. Talk to your friends about it. Yeah, that's all we got.
Yes, sir.
Talk to your family about it.
Yes.
Seriously, do.
Yeah, really.
Cousins, second cousins,
Wife?
uncles, wives.
Yeah. I mean,
Everybody.
having conversations is what helps, right? So
It
that's what we've been
does
trying to do over the
100%.
last 2.5 years or so, 3 years,
Whatever it may be.
30 years. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in and listening and spending your time with us.
Yep.
Tom, thank you so much again, dude.
Yeah, you're the man.
I love you.
Love you guys.
You're the man.
Love you too, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
you.
for this.
Till
gold
next
right here.
time.
It's the least I can do.
Yeah, absolutely. We will catch you next time.
Throw one more out there.
Okay.
Or- yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
wait,
one.
Yeah.
I got. I'm
You
gonna
can't
pick
sign
one.
off without
I'm
a
gonna
good
pick
dad
one.
joke.
Blank page.
Good dad joke.
Oh, that's for his coworker to write.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good. What did the vegetarian zombie say?
Okay. I can't even.
I got nothing. I'm sorry.
Grains.
Grains. Come on. Oh, that's good. Do another one.
All right.
You can't. That was horrible.
It wasn't that good. I was excited because it was like a vegetarian joke. We kind of talked about vegetarian stuff. All right.
Grains. Don't think too hard.
Well, I am now because my first one wasn't
Well,
good.
first one was crickets.
Yeah. There you go.
Did
Did we go through a whole episode
all right.
about that's what she said? Damn it.
Did we?
Damn it.
All
I
right.
hit the button.
Oh, don't do it. Don't
That's
waste
what she
it.
said.
I hit the button.
It's always good to hit the button. Why is it
She said.
impossible to hear a pterodactyl going to the bathroom?
Why is it impossible to hear a pterodactyl go to the bathroom?
Correct.
Mine's mush from this reserve here.
Because they're extinct.
Oh, this is so good, actually. And relevant.
Relevant?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, we've been talking about dinosaurs.
I guess so. All right, let's do it.
I got nothing, man. I got nothing.
Because the P is silent. That's it.
Pteranodons as well.
There you go.
Pterodactyls,
Yeah,
pteranodons.
yeah.
They're called pterosaurs, by the way.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We
We're
appreciate
out.
it.
Thank you so much. We love you all.
Catch you next time. Hey, guys, if you love what you just heard or watched, and we know you did, do us a solid and hit that thumbs up. Share with your friends and throw us a comment, literally about anything. Your support legit keeps us going. Oh, and don't forget to give us that 5-star rating. We really appreciate you.